The moment I opened my eyes, I was bombarded with accusations, condemned for achieving absolute extermination of my sect, for fulfilling my selfish desires by slaughtering the divine officials. Do you confess your crimes? Imprisoning your senior brother, killing your celestial father. Do you admit your guilt? Blood flows for 1,000 miles, extinguishing 10,000 lives. Blood stains the land for 10,000 miles, making heaven and earth weep. You deserve death. What does it feel like, faced with this barrage of stinging insults? The man seated above casually tilted his head back, took a sip of wine, and smacked his lips in appreciation. Excellent vintage. This scene clearly stunned the crowd below into rigid silence. A moment later, the young woman languidly asked, "Why are there only a few of you here? Where are my dear brother and sister-in-law?" Then she glanced up at the young man wearing a forehead ribbon. He was none other than the Azure Emperor, Luo Ziyin, and the horned figure beside him was the descendant of the divine dragon clan, Long Yin Tan. The young woman above continued to calmly savor her wine. "My dear little brother," she said, "you say I've done all these things. And so what? I have my reasons." As soon as she finished speaking, her wine jar exploded, shattered by a forceful palm strike. Luo Ziyin, enraged, roared, "Dianka, your wickedness knows no bounds. I will eradicate you in the name of the heavenly Tao." But was destruction so terrifying? The young woman above, in the blink of an eye, restored her wine jar to its pristine state. With a hint of amusement, she said, "My dear little brother, we haven't seen each other in years, and you've become quite despicable. Remember when you were weak and clung to me?" But the accounts of the two seemed to clash dramatically as Luo Ziyin snarled, each word dripping with venom. Silence. "My parents charitably took you in, and you repaid their kindness by annihilating my entire family. Today, I will destroy you." Faced with his fury, the young woman remained remarkably composed, sitting perfectly still. Inwardly, she was practically giddy with anticipation. "Finally, I can go home. Come at me." If she hadn't been actively plotting her own death, she wouldn't have gone to such lengths just to return home. If he killed her, he'd be her greatest benefactor. But it wasn't over yet. Just as Luo Ziyin's sword lunged forward, another blade intercepted it, accompanied by a voice. "Hold on a moment." This sudden interruption made the young woman above despair, wanting to scream. "Not again. This happens every time." The one who stopped the Azure Emperor was Long Yin Tan. He said softly, "If she truly is the cruel and tyrannical demon empress, a single sword stroke is too merciful." Noticing his younger brother's confusion, he continued, his voice taking on a disturbingly enthusiastic tone. "The heavenly mirror realm is where the wicked are punished. Once activated, the condemned are forced into eternal servitude. Every reflection in the mirror represents another cycle of torment, inflicted by those outside the mirror until death. This is the perfect method to interrogate the demon empress." This was clearly too much. The young woman above lost her patience and yelled, "What are you doing? Trying to play me? On what grounds?" Her face crumpled in frustration. "Are you trying to kill me? How is this any different from those other lackeys? Clearly, only a fool would stay." Escape was the best option, so she made a hasty retreat. But a voice boomed from below, "Demon Empress, where do you think you're going?" A massive mirror appeared above her head. Tricked again, the young woman could only bite her lip in frustration. "You tricked me." The young woman's constant talk of wanting to go home had a reason. It turned out she was a transmigrator carrying the memories of her past life. Our protagonist, like any other ordinary person, had attended her fair share of job fairs, no less than 10. But her start seemed promising. She'd quickly landed a position at a prestigious company. Eager to face the challenge, she confidently declared, "Yes, I will definitely give it my all." Our protagonist, Dianka, was a recent graduate, thrilled with her new job. She skipped home, happily musing, "This company is notoriously difficult to get into. They only hire a maximum of 10 people a year. But the benefits and compensation are excellent. The salary is amazing. Wow, I'm so lucky." Yanka's luck was almost mystifying. Throughout her life, she'd always felt blessed, as if fate favored her. So, it came as a complete shock when, without any warning, she fell gravely ill and was hospitalized. Lying helplessly in her hospital bed, Dianka thought, "Just when I was about to become my parents' support, I've become a burden again." Her mother was constantly by her side, caring for her, Grateful, Yanka whispered, Mom, I'm okay. Once I recover, I'll earn lots and lots of money and buy you everything you want. Her mother gently replied, when you're better, we'll go on a shopping spree, just you and me. Then, she produced a book and cheerfully asked, do you still want me to read to you? Since Yanka had always loved it, her mother began reading, vividly bringing the characters to life with her expressive voice. You impudent fool. How dare you? The sect leader drew his sword, confronting the arrogant youth, seemingly ready to teach him a lesson. As her mother read, Yanka gradually drifted into unconsciousness. She closed her eyes heavily, a wave of sadness washing over her. I thought if I just tried hard enough, if I put in the effort, I could beat this illness. But as her consciousness slipped away, as her mother's voice faded, she realized a painful truth. Effort wasn't always enough. In the hazy darkness, someone called her name. Yanka, do you want to live? Of course, she wanted to live. Yanka pleaded, I want to. I want to live and take care of my parents. A woman's voice responded, very well. I will grant your wish. With those words, the woman touched Yanka's forehead, and she lost consciousness again. The last thing she remembered was a voice saying, Yanka, the only way for you to return to your original world is to die a natural death in this one. Death here is a form of rebirth. As the voice faded, she jolted awake, finding herself in a small, filthy body. Looking around at the unfamiliar surroundings, she thought, all I have to do is die in this world to go back. Without hesitation, she kicked off and plunged into the water below, not a shred of fear in her heart. This dramatic scene was witnessed by a young boy who cried out, Father. Someone fell in the water. The man urgently called out, Zine, stay there. It turned out the child who had saved Yanka's life was none other than Luo Zine, the same Luo Zine who would later swear to take her life in retribution. And the scenes they had witnessed, apparently, reflections from the cursed heavenly mirror. How else could it show? Yanka, now the Demon Empress. Even she had a marvel. Stop wasting time, she declared. I agree to go to the immortal execution platform. Infuriated by her arrogance, Luo Zine roared. Yanka, don't even dream of it. For your crimes, I will carry out heaven's will and deliver justice. He declared before everyone, promising a fair judgment. Having been berated since dawn, Yanka was thoroughly annoyed. With a flick of her wrist, she unleashed a surge of magic, hoping to silence them for just a few seconds. The power emanating from Yanka sent a wave of fear through the crowd below. However, the attack was blocked by the mirror's barrier. A little disheartened, she muttered, even the Demon Empress's power is useless here. Though she appeared calm, inwardly, a sea of sorrow welled within her. I knew I couldn't keep up the pretense outside, she thought, but I didn't expect them to be so unconventional. They declare my execution, and now they're just watching. After living here for so long, are they actually hesitant? Yanka sighed in exasperation. I swear, I just want to go home. Just then, the scene in the mirror shifted. A tiny Luo Zine trailed anxiously after his father, asking, Father, is brother all right? The sight of his father brought Luo Zine to a standstill, his face alight with longing. Meanwhile, the onlookers continued their fervent gossip. Imagine, Yanka was so scheming, even as a child. Just to escape being a beggar, she resorted to such drastic measures, throwing herself into the river to gain the great Azure Emperor's sympathy. So manipulative. See, you can't judge a book by its cover. Some people are just born two-faced. But isn't Yanka the Celestial Emperor's daughter? Why was she a beggar in the mortal realm? Another voice chimed in. I heard she's the child of a fox demon who seduced the Celestial Emperor. The demon died when Yanka was 8. This child is truly cunning. After learning her true identity, she sought out the Celestial Emperor, demanding recognition. But how could a mixed-blood demon be worthy of being the Celestial Emperor's child? She should have been eradicated, but the Emperor, unable to bring himself to do it, sealed her memories and divine powers, casting her into the mortal realm. Listening to the fabricated tale of her origins, Yanka couldn't help but feel second-hand embarrassment for the gossipers. Are these people serious? She thought with disdain. Oh well, who hasn't encountered a few windbags in their life? Let them talk. Actions speak louder than words. And so, while the crowd below buzzed with speculation, she leaned back against her ethereal throne, the picture of relaxation. Seeing Yanka's nonchalant posture and the radiant halo above her head, the crowd below, sensing an opportunity, grew even bolder. Look, she's clearly guilty. they exclaimed. Luo Zien seethed at her apparent indifference. If it weren't for father's kindness in taking her in, he thought bitterly, the Luo clan wouldn't have been massacred. Dianka, Yateyu. His mind drifted back to the peaceful days of his childhood. His gentle mother looked down at the grime-covered little girl and asked, "What's your name, child? Who is your family? We'll send someone to take you home." The young Dianka, ever economical with her words, simply replied, "I'm Yanka. I have no family." Her gaze, however, remained fixed on the sword at Lord Luo's hip. Using a sword, she thought, would definitely guarantee a successful departure. But her morbid plan was quickly dispelled by the beautiful woman beside her. Lady Luo gently stroked her head. "Connie," she said warmly, "why don't you stay with the Luo family and keep Zien company?" Sensing the woman's affection, Dianka grew bolder. Pointing at the sword, she asked, "Uncle, can you give me that? I want to hug it while I sleep." Her strange request caused Lady Luo to pause. "Connie, are you afraid?" she asked gently. A silent exchange passed between her and her husband. A moment later, Luo Zien's father unbuckled his sword and offered it to her. "If Connie is afraid," he said kindly, "then hug it while you sleep. But be careful, it's very sharp." Dianka solemnly accepted the sword with both hands, a flicker of sadness in her eyes. "Mother, father," she thought silently, "we'll be reunited soon. Just wait for me." Worried about the little girl, Luo Zien's mother stayed by her side, watching until Dianka finally drifted off to sleep, clutching the sword tightly. Relieved, she closed the door and whispered, "Poor child." Lord Luo embraced his wife, comforting her. The Luo family will not mistreat her. Whatever Zien has, Connie will have as well. Touched by her husband's compassion, Lady Luo smiled softly. "Connie is truly blessed. You're tired after such a long day. Go and rest," he said. "Your wife will help you." "I'm not tired," Lady Luo replied happily. Meanwhile, our fortunate protagonist, Dianka, as soon as she confirmed no one was around, opened her eyes. Cautiously, she crept to the door, peering out and even wedging the door shut with a bar to prevent any interruptions as she attempted another departure. Drawing the sword, Dianka thought resolutely, "I'm truly grateful for their kindness in taking me in, but my parents are still waiting for their daughter to come home." With that, she decisively swung the sword, slicing across her own throat, determined to end her time in this strange world. But how could it be? Though when Dianka opened her eyes again, she still saw the Luo family. Lady Luo looked at her with concern. "You're awake. You're finally awake," she exclaimed. Lord Luo breathed a sigh of relief. Then, Lady Luo gently scolded her. "You scared us to death." Dianka looked around in confusion. "Why am I still here?" she wondered. Suddenly, she remembered the warning. The only condition for returning to her original world was a natural death in this one. A chill ran down her spine as she realized that what she'd just attempted was anything but natural. Seeing her fear, Lady Luo comforted her. "The doctor said you've been suffering from malnutrition for a long time. That's why you're so weak," she explained. Then, filled with self-reproach, she added, "It's my fault. I left you alone in your room. If it weren't for Connie crying for his brother in the middle of the night, we wouldn't have discovered you unconscious until morning." Dianka's eyes narrowed. Unconscious, she thought. How could I have been unconscious? Wasn't I unsuccessful? Since the key to her failed attempt seemed to be connected to the young Luo Zien, she feigned innocence, asking, "Did Zien know something?" The boy, who had been visibly worried, suddenly became secretive. "It's a secret," he whispered. Then, with a touch of sass, he added, "But if brother comes closer, I'll tell you." Dianka, skeptical but playing along, asked, "Really?" She leaned closer to the child. Luo Zien, without a word, kissed her cheek and declared, "Because brother is so pretty, I want to sleep with you." Dianka could only stare at him, speechless. "Because brother is so pretty, I want to sleep with you." The scene within the mirror was incredibly vivid, capturing Dianka's embarrassed expression, perfectly as Luo Zien kissed her, causing the onlookers to erupt in a fresh wave of outrage. This is a multi-layered scheme. She threw herself into the river to gain sympathy, then pretended to be strong to reassure the great Azure Emperor's parents, so they would leave her alone. Then, she used her beauty to trick the young Great Azure Emperor into sneaking into her room at night. Finally, she feigned weakness and unconsciousness to make his parents feel guilty, showering her with affection to compensate and lowering their guard. She's truly a master manipulator. Even Luo Zien couldn't stand it anymore. He glared at Dianka. To ascend to the position of Demon Empress, he spat. You truly spared no effort. Suddenly reprimanded by Z-een, Dianka lost interest in listening. She turned away indifferently. If that's what you want to believe, there's nothing I can do. Luo Ziyin's anger flared at her dismissiveness. The mirror then shifted to a few days later, after Dianka had settled into the Luo family. Just as she'd said, the young Luo Ziyin was incredibly clingy. He constantly praised her with a bright smile, though he was still innocently mistaken about her gender. Brother, you're so amazing, he'd exclaim. I used to be the best in school, but after you came, you became the best. Speaking of which, since the little guy beside her had brought it up, Dianka couldn't help but mutter to herself with a melancholic sigh. A university student who's had a head start. How could I not excel? Forget it. If the mountain blocks the road, I'll find another way. If she remembered correctly, the world she was currently in was the one from the novel she'd read while sick. It was a novel where the male protagonist, after inadvertently making enemies with some dark force, suffered the annihilation of his entire family. He, through some incredible stroke of luck, crawled out from beneath the pile of corpses. Afterward, he found his way to the Swordheart sect to cultivate, carving his own path. He even recruited a loyal follower who swore unwavering allegiance to him. He was the antagonist, the one who obtained a divine artifact and caught the eye of a goddess, eventually becoming the emperor of the celestial realm. The antagonist in this novel had a truly miserable ending. If I stick with this Luo kid, I should be able to go home smoothly. Smooth sailing was nowhere in sight. However, currently, Dianka found herself blocked in the middle of the road by a group of snot-nosed brats. They swaggered up to her, brazenly obstructing her path. Halt, Luo Ziyins, Dianka's lackey. You've become quite famous lately. However, determined to win over the young Luo heir, Dianka's eyes lit up. Opportunity knocks, she thought. With that, she bravely shielded Ziyin, shouting at her schoolmates, You're just jealous because I'm so brilliant in class. If you have a problem, come to me. It has nothing to do with him. By the way, do you have your swords with you? The bullies, who had been so brazenly trying to intimidate others, were now completely dumbfounded by her question about their weapons. Dianka looked at the bewildered brats with exasperation, clicking her tongue. No swords. Don't tell me you were planning to beat someone to death with your bare hands. The leader, enraged by her taunts, rolled up his sleeves and yelled, What's it to you? Are you eager to meet the king of hell? Originally, Dianka had hoped to use these kids to die a natural death, but seeing how useless they were, she dropped the pretense. Instead, she threatened him right back. Well, why don't you send me there? Her menacing demeanor, so utterly bizarre, frightened the group of children. They hesitated, wanting to retreat. Boss, this kid seems to have a few screws loose. Let's just go. However, their leader was thoroughly irritated by Dianka. He roared, Stop your bluffing. You think I wouldn't dare send you to the underworld? This played right into Dianka's hands. She continued to provoke him. Come on then. Come on. This made Luo Ziyin, standing beside her, start to worry. Brother, he whispered anxiously. Sensing that Dianka might be a tougher opponent than he anticipated, the leader turned to leave. However, to save face, he threw out a few parting threats. Just you wait. I'll be back. Dianka wouldn't let him off so easily, continuing to needle him. Is there a place on your way back where you can buy a sword? Then you can come back and try to kill me again. Dianka scolded. Such a coward. What kind of bully are you? Come on, Ziyin, let's go home. But when she turned around, she was startled by the sight of Luo Ziyin's sparkling eyes. Oh my, what's this? Luo Ziyin threw himself into her arms. Brother Yanka, you're so cool. I like you. That night, Dianka couldn't sleep a wink, tossing and turning in bed. Finally, she kicked off the covers in frustration. Damn biology class. She muttered, I can't sleep. Since she couldn't sleep, Dianka tried to recall the plot of the novel. I remember the Luo family. They were also targeted. They're good people. Good people shouldn't die unjustly. Unfortunately, she'd been so sick back then, her whole body aching, that her memory of the plot was hazy. She only remembered the attacker wearing black clothes and a hood. Suddenly, little Ziyin appeared from somewhere, asking softly, Brother Yanka, can I sleep with you? Of course, Dianka didn't refuse. Instead, she patted the empty space beside her and said, Come on, Ziyin. Ziyin's eyes lit up like stars. He quickly lifted the blanket, crawled in, and generously offered the inside spot to her, saying magnanimously, "Brother Yanka, this spot is for you." Yanka tried her best to coax the little boy to sleep. "Sleep, little brother. I'll protect you." She meant to protect the entire Luo family. While Zine slept soundly, she couldn't help but gently poke his nose and whisper affectionately, "Such a pure child. I wonder how he ends up becoming the antagonist." When a memory mirror showed this scene, the celestial Emperor Qing Yang couldn't help but feel a little self-conscious. "I was so clingy to the Demon Empress back then," he mused. The next day, Yanka was diligently dragging little Zine to school. "Come on, let's go. We're going to be late." Suddenly, a man stopped them and asked, "Excuse me, young gentleman. We're trying to find our way. Do you know of a family named Luo? They won a competition recently and just moved to this town." Upon hearing this, Yanka froze. She was certain that this was the mastermind behind the Luo family's assassination. She blurted out, "Don't know them." But Zine, beside her, innocently replied, "The only family that moved here last month was ours." The men immediately exchanged knowing glances. But to be sure, they continued their charade, asking sweetly, "And what is your family name, young master? We've been searching far and wide for our lifesavers and haven't had any luck." Just as her little companion was about to reveal their identity, Yanka quickly stepped in front of him and declared firmly, "Wong. Our family name is Wong." After parting ways with the men, Yanka cheerfully sent Zine off to school. Waving, she said, "Zine, you go to school first." The little boy, sensing something, asked shrewdly, "Brother Yanka, are you skipping school?" Yanka playfully stuck out her tongue. "I have some things to take care of. You go on ahead. I'll be there later." Reassured, Zine replied, "Okay, Brother Yanka, but don't lie to me." After watching the little boy obediently enter the school, Yanka cautiously left. She thought to herself, "The hooded men in black have appeared. It seems I need to find a way to force the Luo family to leave this place." However, she was unaware that the men in black were already following her. Yanka walked for a while, arriving at the most secretive restaurant in town. Standing before the large sign, she cracked her knuckles, a calculating glint in her eyes. "If I offend them," she mused, "they'll definitely cause trouble for the Luo family. Then they'll have no choice but to leave. And if they could conveniently get rid of me in the process, wouldn't that be killing two birds with one stone?" Upon entering, Yanka was greeted warmly, which only emboldened her further. "Are you the manager?" she asked haughtily. The manager, beaming, replied, "Yes. How can I help you?" Seeing him already swayed, Yanka pulled out a piece of paper and casually exaggerated, "I have a secret recipe for new dishes. If you give me 100 silver taels, it's yours." The manager, intrigued, focused on reading the recipe. After seeing the intricate details, his eyes lit up. Clutching the paper, he handed over the silver and shouted, "Waiter." Yanka quickly pocketed the money and then added pointedly, "I have 9 more of these." Immediately, the manager, incredibly generous, boomed, "Waiter, bring this customer 900 silver taels." Having initially agreed on 100 silver taels per recipe, Yanka suddenly changed her tune. Putting on a roguish air, she remarked, "Well, for rare items, the price naturally increases. If you truly want them, manager, prepare 4,500 silver taels and deliver them to the Southern General's mansion. Otherwise, don't blame me for giving them to your competitor next door." The manager's face paled and his lips trembled. "You're saying each recipe is now 500 taels." Yanka firmly declared, "That's right, not a tael less." The manager immediately became indignant and tried to dismiss her. "I'm sorry, but our small establishment has limited profits. 500 taels per recipe is simply too much. Please take your business elsewhere." Sensing that her provocation wasn't quite enough, Yanka continued to fan the flames. She scoffed, "Humph, you can't even afford 500 taels. What kind of business are you running? I predict your restaurant will be closing its doors soon enough." Barely a moment after she left, the manager, as predicted, made his move. He quietly ordered, "Investigate the Luo family. If they're unprotected, capture that boy and make his parents pay the ransom." Satisfied that her scheme had worked, Yanka strolled away, breathing a sigh of relief. This way, she thought, there won't be any casualties. However, the moment she reached the Luo family's doorstep, the silver she had just acquired clattered to the ground. Greeting Dianka was a raging inferno engulfing the Luo residence. Where there's smoke, there's fire, as they say. After school, Luo Ziyin cheerfully bid farewell to his friends, but still couldn't find his brother Yanka. Sulking, he muttered to himself, "Bad brother Yanka. He promised to come to class, but he skipped school. I'll tell father and mother so they can spank him." Upon arriving home, the young Luo heir called out, "Mother, I'm home." Lady Luo, seeing only her son, asked gently, "Where's Yanka?" Ziyin promptly lied. Brother Yanka was held back by the teacher. "He'll be back later." Seeing his mother's unsuspecting expression, Ziyin felt a surge of smugness. "Bad brother Yanka," he thought, "I'll forgive you this time." But the peace wouldn't last. The men in black, having trailed Luo Ziyin, had already arrived at the Luo family home. Without a word, they charged forward in unison. This was the cause of the raging fire. Tiny Dianka pushed her way through the crowd of towering figures, shouting, "Move! Move!" Like a moth drawn to a flame. She threw herself into the inferno, only to be blown back by a sudden burst of heat. Onlookers cried out, "Little one, are you all right?" Ignoring their pleas, she stubbornly lunged back into the blaze. After struggling through the flames, Dianka cried out, "Ziyin, Lady Luo, where are you?" Suddenly, a voice responded, "Yanka, is that my Yanka?" Dianka discovered them trapped inside an airless room. Pounding on the door, she yelled, "Lady Luo, it's me, Yanka. I'm here to save you." After much effort, she finally found the Luo family lying unconscious on the floor. Dragging her scorched body inside, she gasped, "Lady Luo, I'm here to save you." She rushed to help Lady Luo up, but she shook her head weakly. "Yanka," she whispered, "I'm afraid I won't make it. Take care of Ziyin. He's still so young. Take him to the Sword Heart sect. They'll help you." With her last words spoken, Lady Luo's body went limp, collapsing onto the floor. Dianka was terrified. Watching through the memory mirror, the celestial emperor Qing Yang gnashed his teeth in fury. "How could this be?" he roared. "Were my parents killed by Dianka? This must be a lie. You're deceiving me." The onlookers, eager to gossip, chimed in. It seems the young celestial emperor Qing Yang suffocated in the fire. Was he just an ordinary person back then? Isn't suffocating in a fire normal? Wait, something's not right here. Is this really the fallen demon empress? To think she'd use her mortal body to rush into a fire and save someone. I heard celestial emperor Qing Yang relied on inherited celestial arts to become one of the great emperors. Perhaps the demon empress saved them to steal those arts. How else could Luo Ziyin so readily believe the crowd and regain his composure? He seethed with killing intent. So that's how it is. Even if she didn't kill my parents, she betrayed her sect and attacked my master and junior sister. That's an unforgivable crime. Despite the accusations, Dianka remained composed, her chin resting on her hand as she watched the memories replay. After seeing someone emerge from the inferno, the surrounding crowd erupted in shouts. "Someone's out. Someone made it. It looks like that little girl from before." Due to the intense heat, half of Dianka's face was covered in a large burn. The onlookers winced, feeling a pang of sympathetic pain just from the sight of it. After her strenuous efforts, Dianka's legs finally gave way, and she collapsed face first onto the ground. However, barely half a second later, she forced herself back up, calling out, "Ziyin." She clutched the young boy tightly, asking tenderly, "Ziyin, wake up. Ziyin." But no matter how she called, the small child in her arms remained motionless. Panic rising, she pleaded with the onlookers, "What's wrong with him? Why won't he wake up?" The crowd, however, turned their backs, abandoning her in her distress. "Don't ask me. I don't know. I thought she brought out some treasure. Who knew it was just a kid? What bad luck." Fear gnawed at Dianka's heart. She cried out, "Ziyin, wake up. It's me, Yanka. We're safe now. If you wake up, I'll buy you your favorite candy hawthorns, okay?" Finally, in desperation, she kowtowed, begging for help. "Please, save us. Save my little brother. He's only 7. He can't." But the crowd remained indifferent, making excuses to leave. The weather's turning. "I'm good for a walk." And so, the crowd dispersed. Left alone, Dianka stared into the void, a profound disillusionment settling over her. Truly, human nature is the same regardless of the era. "Fine, if you won't help." She hoisted Luo Ziyin onto her back, a fierce determination hardening her resolve. "Ziyin, I will save you." As if to mock her plight, the rain began to fall just as the ordeal seemed to be over. This was no longer the welcome rain that quenched a fire, but a cold, isolating downpour that soaked the two children to the bone. The sheer hardship of their situation even stunned Celestial Emperor Qin, who murmured in disbelief, "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Dianka would never do this for me. She must be after the Qin celestial arts. It has to be." In the dark of night, Dianka wearily knocked on door after door. Those inside, emboldened by the cover of darkness, would cautiously peek out, asking, "Who is it?" Only to recoil in terror a moment later, screaming, "A ghost," before slamming the door shut as if warding off a vengeful spirit. She then carried Luo Ziyin to a brightly lit apothecary, pleading, "Doctor, please help my little brother. He was trapped in a fire and hasn't woken up." The apothecary, however, found them an annoyance, waving them away dismissively. "Go away, go away. Where did these beggars come from?" She received similar treatment at other establishments, even being cursed at. Crazy woman, trying to scare people in the middle of the night. Having reached her limit, her wounded body could no longer support her, and she collapsed to the ground. Her breathing grew shallow. Looking at the pitiful Luo Ziyin before her, she sighed internally. "Everything hurts. I'm so tired." But just as consciousness began to slip away, Dianka jolted herself awake. "No, I have celestial blood. I can't die yet." If she left him like this, he would surely die. Unable to carry Luo Ziyin while wandering in the rain, Dianka placed him under the shelter of an overhanging roof. Then she quietly slipped away, thinking, "I have no money, so I can only leave him here for now. If I die today, at least it will be to save someone. To be able to go home, to be able to save someone, this life wouldn't be wasted." With this resolve, she ran to an apothecary and knelt before the shop sign. Her persistence unsettled the old apothecary inside. Annoyed, he yelled, "Go away, go away. What poor person comes looking for medical treatment?" He continued to shoo her away until sunrise, but the stubborn girl remained. Finally, exasperated, he sighed, "Truly stubborn. Fine, fine." Dianka quickly brought Luo Ziyin to the apothecary. After examining the boy, the old man shook his head helplessly. "I'm sorry, but this old man's skills are insufficient. Perhaps I can treat your wounds instead." Hearing this, Dianka cried out, "Did he inhale too much poisonous smoke? Has the poison entered his vital organs? Then give him my organs. Give him mine." The apothecary, enraged, scolded her, "Preposterous. Without your organs, you'll die." But Dianka remained resolute. "I don't need to live. Just save my little brother." Through the memory mirror, Celestial Emperor Qin watched, stunned. He murmured, She's willing to trade her life for his." Dianka continued to plead, "Please, sir, save my little brother. I truly don't need to live." The old apothecary sighed again. "Child, I don't possess such abilities." Dejected, Dianka whispered, "Is that so? Then when can I die? This girl, she wants to go home, but how much of this is genuine kindness?" He mused. Then, growing serious, he said, "The only person in this world who can exchange vital organs is the medicine immortal of the Divine Physician Valley." After learning the location of this legendary figure, Dianka, with Luo Ziyin on her back, traversed mountains and rivers until she finally reached her destination. She was surprised to find a crowd milling listlessly outside the gates. Curious, she asked, "Why isn't anyone going in?" A kind stranger explained, "To seek help from the Divine Physician Valley, they not only assess your attitude, but also the medicine immortal's mood. He has to be willing to treat you." Desperate, Dianka couldn't bear any delay in Ziyin's treatment. The stranger continued, "If you're brave enough, you can try crossing the Yellow Springs path. Then, the medicine immortal is guaranteed to treat you." Dianka immediately declared, "I'll go." Her decision startled the crowd. Little Junior, 9 out of 10 who enter the Yellow Springs path never return. You might not save your brother, but you'll certainly lose your own life. Unless the medicine immortal personally intervenes, few survive. The prospect of such a gamble only emboldened Dianka. "I can't live anyway. I must go," she thought excitedly. With Luo Ziyin on her back, she thanked the stranger. "My mind is made up," she declared, then stepped through the gates towards the Yellow Springs path. A cold voice echo began. Wanting to be certain, she asked, "If I can cross this, You will say my little brother, correct. Receiving a curt naturally, she gently placed Luo Zien on the ground. Then, with steely determination, Dianka stepped onto the burning lava and began to run. The fire beneath her feet had long since burned away her shoes. Yet, Dianka's primary concern was the state of her clothes. Breathing a sigh of relief, she muttered, "Good thing the fire hasn't reached my clothes." Outside the mortality mirror, the onlookers continued to casually observe, preparing various dishes as they commented. This Yellow Springs path seems rather underwhelming. Demon Empress Dianka is crossing it with such ease. I was hoping to see her suffer a bit. How disappointing. However, they soon noticed Celestial Emperor Qin Yang's pained expression as he whispered, "It's all right." Within the mirror, the scene shifted to Dianka walking alone across the icy expanse of the second trial. Her feet, still burning from the flames, welcomed the chilling ice. "Ah, so cold, so refreshing. This is much better than that boring Yellow Springs path," she exclaimed. Just as she finished speaking, sharp icicles rained down from above. Though startled, the small figure persevered, running through the icy onslaught. Shielding herself as best she could, Dianka thought, "I don't have many clothes to begin with, and now the ice is tearing them. How annoying. Why target my clothes instead of my body? Blood can flow, but clothes cannot be ripped." Outside the mortality mirror, the onlookers were abuzz with excitement, their expressions a mixture of amusement and disdain. Thousands of swords, and that's it. No matter how hateful the Demon Empress is now, back then she was just a child desperately trying to save someone. Look, he's trembling. With wounds like that, he must be in so much pain. What kind of trust could make someone so inherently cruel go to such lengths? The Luo family only shared a meal with her. In contrast to the gossiping crowd, Celestial Emperor Qin Yang was drenched in a cold sweat. The two celestial attendants beside him, noticing his distress, asked softly, "Celestial Emperor, are you all right?" When he didn't respond, the female attendant, overcome with curiosity, reached out and lightly touched the barrier of the mortality mirror. Bie Lashibua. In an instant, she was flung backward. The other attendant rushed to catch her. It was then that they heard Luo Ziyin's quiet voice explaining, "Touching the image within the mirror allows one to experience half of the suffering of the person shown." The onlookers gasped. Just half the suffering of a mortal. How painful could it be? Enough to knock a celestial unconscious. The female attendant, still recovering, quickly added, "Although our cultivation is low, we wouldn't be knocked unconscious so easily. It must be truly agonizing." Skeptical, the crowd, one by one, curiously reached out to touch the barrier. Soon, 7 were bleeding from their orifices. One, horrified, exclaimed, "Half the suffering is this terrifying." Finally, the onlookers turned their attention back to Dianka, who was still steadily progressing, and murmured, "To withstand such hardship, it's no wonder the Demon Empress became the strongest in the 9 heavens and 7 realms. If only she hadn't chosen the wrong path." Even Luo Zien, witnessing this, began to question everything. He thought to himself, what kind of past could transform someone so kind and resolute into the heartless, tyrannical demon empress she is today? My childhood memories are gone. I never knew she did so much for me. His gaze remained fixed on Dianka's solitary figure within the mirror. She was now painstakingly traversing a path paved with swords. A quiet voice, silent for a long while, suddenly spoke, "Little Z, give up. You won't make it to the end. If you give up now, you can at least see your little brother one last time." Dianka coldly replied, "I must save him." Hearing this, the voice laughed heartily. "Little one, I like your spirit. If you can overcome this trial, I'll make an exception and take you as my disciple." Despite the tempting offer, the blades beneath her feet kept Dianka focused. She stubbornly insisted, "I only need to save him." Only after a long pause did the strange voice finally hear the 2 words, "only need." It practically whooped with glee. "What? Regretting your decision already? If you give up now, I can still take you as my disciple." But Dianka proved that it ain't over till it's over. She calmly called out, "No regrets. But, old-timer, could you perhaps spare me a set of clothes?" The immortal, red-faced with indignation, spluttered, "What? I'm not even worth a set of clothes." Despite his grumbling, he sent her a rather large robe. Dianka, upon receiving the garment, politely thanked the immortal. Then, continuing her trek across the blades, she mused, "This does look a bit intimidating. But as long as I don't look at the blades, it's not so scary. Just think of it as the road from hell back home. Compared to my parents selling their house and car, borrowing money everywhere to save me, this path is nothing." Through the mortality mirror, the onlookers breathed a collective sigh of relief. Heavens, she actually made it through. Only Mo Chong-Lu, Dianca's disciple, expressed his disapproval. "Dianca, why are you so good to Luo Ziyin? If you had treated me half as well, I wouldn't. Before he could finish his sentence, a commotion erupted near Celestial Emperor Qingyang. He suddenly became agitated, watching Dianca collapse within the mirror. He cried out, "Brother." Someone foolishly asked, "The demon empress isn't going to die, is she?" Another, realizing the absurdity of the question, snapped, "How could she? If she were dead, who would be sitting up there now? Her tribulation lightning is just like that. Besides, she's just a child." As Dianca stirred within the mirror, everyone sighed in relief. "Demon Empress, you're the Demon Empress. You can overcome this small obstacle." Only Luo Ziyin, bearing half of her pain, collapsed, whispering, "Brother, I am sorry. It's all my fault. You suffered so much back then. It's all my fault." Within the mirror, a medicine immortal joyfully hovered above. "After 1,000 years, someone has finally crossed my Yellow Springs Grand Formation. Tian Xianzi finally has a successor." This old man, with his silver hair and benevolent smile, was none other than the mysterious medicine sect master, Tian Xianzi. The crowd outside the mirror erupted in excitement, as if they had just met their idol. "What? Tian Xuanzi, the mysterious medicine sect. He's Tian Xianzi, the one who saved my wife. He always wears a mask. This is the first time I've seen his face. Tian Xianzi, he saved my parents' lives too. I wanted to repay his kindness, but then this demon empress took his life." They glared at Dianca, who was calmly resting her chin on her hand. "Demon Empress, you even dare to lay a hand on someone as great as Tian Xianzi." Having been quiet for a while, Dianca's eyes lit up at these words. She said cheerfully, "Want to draw me again? I should seize this opportunity and close the mortality mirror quickly." She then proceeded to taunt the crowd. "Not bad. Tian Xianzi was indeed killed by this empress. If you're not convinced, come and see me off. Otherwise, when I get out, I'll boil you, fry you, dismember you, and scatter your remains across the sea. I'll use the most vicious, most evil formations to suppress you, so you'll never be able to reincarnate." Hearing this, everyone flew into a rage, drawing their swords and shouting, "Demon Empress, what did you say?" Though she didn't voice it, Dianca almost welcomed death in this very moment. "Come on, unleash your anger and hatred. Point your blades at me." A 2-second pause hung in the air. Dianca, feigning distress, thought to herself, "Wait a minute, this barrier can't be pierced. I need to trick him into retracting the mortality mirror. But what is he doing?" She wondered, referring to Luo Ziyin. Luo Ziyin, covered in grime, looked at her and called out, "Sister." Dianca shook her head vehemently. No, he looks like a mess. He's probably too weak to channel energy. I need a different approach." Left with no other choice, she resorted to provocation. "I am protected by the heavenly Tao mirror. You can't touch me." The crowd, predictably, fell for the bait, clamoring for Celestial Emperor Qingyang to withdraw the heavenly Tao mirror. Yet, inexplicably, Long Yintan and Mo Chong-Lu remained steadfast in their opposition. "We can't. The Demon Empress's power is immense. If the heavenly Tao mirror is withdrawn, a fierce battle will surely ensue. The Demon Empress is skilled in manipulation. She's likely spreading rumors to trick us into withdrawing the mirror, giving her a chance to escape." Immediately, the onlookers backpedaled, even going so far as to criticize Dianca. "This Demon Empress is truly insidious. I almost fell for her trickery. If she's under the protection of the heavenly Tao mirror, she'll die sooner or later. Why should we bother? Let's just watch and see what happens." Dianca, her scheme exposed, grimaced. "Fine, be all high and mighty. Go ahead and burn me to light your own way, you puppets." Back within the mirror, the young Dianca spoke weakly, "Remember what you promised me. If there's nothing else, I'll go home now." She was waiting for the opportune moment to die and transmigrate back to the present. But then, unexpectedly, she was grabbed by the scruff of her neck. Tian Xianzi, the medicine immortal, threw her into a vat of water, jolting her awake. He said, gasping, "Go home." Absolutely not. You are now my disciple. Whether you stay or go is up to me. With that, he plunged her head underwater, his voice cold. Now, soak in this divine water. Only those with unwavering resolve can withstand it. That is why I created the Yellow Springs Formation, to choose a suitable successor. Dianka struggled to breathe, thrashing in the water. The acupoints in her body glowed brightly. The medicine immortal, observing from above, calmly explained, by soaking in the divine water, your flesh and blood will be cleansed, your primordial spirit and soul purified, and your true spirit and divine power tempered. You will then be able to ascend to the heavens and become the sole inheritor of my mysterious medicine sect. But remember, you must never reveal the secret of the Trilite divine water to anyone. At this point in the story, the promise Dianka made to the medicine immortal would be broken. Forced by the heavenly Tao mirror to confess, she revealed the secret, causing an uproar among those watching. This Dianka has the luck of a dog, to be tempered by the Trilite divine water. Unbelievable. Don't complain. Even if they gave it to us, we wouldn't be able to withstand it. Although the Trilite divine water was formed from 3 types of divine water, each containing the essence of heaven and earth, a defiance of natural order, the pain it inflicted was 1,000, 10,000 times greater. Just as someone haughtily remarked, where do you see the demon empress in pain? Tell me. Celestial Emperor Qin Yang, who had been bearing half of Dianka's pain through the heavenly Tao mirror, collapsed. He trembled, thinking, how can this be? The onlookers, successfully swayed by the spectacle, concluded, it seems the demon empress is suffering after all. Otherwise, she wouldn't be struggling so violently. Indeed, but this Tian Xianzi is truly cruel. Back inside the mirror, Dianka continued to thrash about, not from pain, but from sheer exasperation. I don't want to recover, she wailed internally. Let me out. I want to go home. You're my way. But the medicine immortal, Tian Xianzi, remained oblivious, cheerfully encouraging her. I know the Trilite divine water causes immense suffering, he said, but only by enduring this boundless agony can one ascend to greater heights. Little one, you must persevere. Dianka seethed, want to scream, persevere my foot. Thank you very much. After what felt like an eternity of near drowning, she finally managed to pull herself up, gasping like a fish out of water. Trying to find a way to die just makes me want to die even more, she thought miserably. This murky bath almost did me in. Eyeing the beaming Tian Xianzi with suspicion, she thought, good thing I'm still young. Being soaked through isn't a big deal. Otherwise, my true gender would have been revealed. As she wrung the water from her clothes, a disorienting memory flashed through her mind. Wait a minute, she thought, furtively recalling the past. When I woke up back then, I was already dry and lying in bed. Does that mean Luo Ziyin's family knew my real gender all along? She then remembered another incident, when she'd wanted to relieve herself with Luo Ziyin, only to be stopped by his mother, who'd said, dear child, why don't you come with me instead? The memory made her cringe. Dianka retreated to a corner, mentally chastising herself. My disguise. Meanwhile, the medicine immortal was practically giddy with delight. He chuckled, saying just as I expected, not only handsome, but also loyal and righteous, with unwavering character. Excellent, excellent. Disciple, what is your name? Dianka, gesturing to her sorry state, asked dumbly, handsome disciple. Then, considering the potential ramifications, she adopted a more disciple-like demeanor. Do I really look like his disciple? My brain must be waterlogged to even consider it. My wounds, soaked for days, have healed. If I really become his disciple, wouldn't that mean immortality? Only a fool would want that. So, she declared loudly, I don't want to be your disciple. I just want to save my little brother. This declaration stunned Tian Xianzi into silence. Undeterred, he continued to coax her with a smile. My dear disciple, do you not know of the mysterious medicine sex? But Dianka was having none of it, plugging her ears and chanting repeatedly, I don't care how great, how powerful, how famous you are. I just want to save my little brother. Finally losing his patience, the medicine immortal snapped, well, tough luck. If you've soaked in my Trilite divine water, you are my disciple. Good heavens, Dianka thought. Even a medicine immortal can be as stubborn as a 3-year-old. However, in that brief moment when he'd taken her pulse, Tian Xianzi had realized her true gender. but she continued to deny it. Older brother. I am his older brother. He grabbed her wrist again, stating firmly, wrong. Dianka grew increasingly frustrated. Wrong about what? Old man, if you don't understand, don't spout nonsense. I said older brother, so I'm his older brother. You're the one who's wrong. The medicine immortal's eyes widened. You're not even human. Dianka was equally shocked by this pronouncement. She stared blankly as he continued. Your bones are no longer mortal, yet your blood flow is obstructed and you possess no spiritual roots. I was suspicious before, but now I understand. You have 20 celestial seals on your body. You are not human. Each seal brings you closer to death, perhaps even an early one. But if they are all released, you could ascend to the heavens. Of this lengthy explanation, only the words early death reached Dianka's ears. Her eyes lit up. Early death. That sounds beneficial. Intrigued, she asked, how do I break the seals? The medicine immortal, without hesitation, instructed her, cultivate. When your cultivation reaches its peak, the seals will summon 9 heavenly lightning tribulations. After the tribulations, the seals will break themselves. Immediately, the rebellious Dianka obediently kowtowed. Master, please accept this disciple's bow. Tian Xianzi, the medicine immortal, seemed taken aback by this sudden shift, thinking that's all it took. Seeing his hesitation, Dianka anxiously asked, do you not want me as your disciple anymore? The old man sighed gently. It's not that. There's just one thing I don't understand. You and your younger brother aren't blood relatives. Why would you risk your life to save him? Is it worth it? Unable to admit her true desire for death, Dianka played the role of unwavering loyalty. His parents showed me great kindness. Whether we share blood or not, he will always be my younger brother. Saving him is my duty. Satisfied with her answer, the medicine immortal helped her up. He then touched a point on her forehead and softly said, good. I didn't misjudge you. In that case, I will help you break the first seal. As soon as Tian Xianzi performed some sort of incantation, dark clouds gathered above them, crackling with bright lightning. Dianka, slightly apprehensive, thought, while I'm not particularly fond of being struck by lightning, this does look promising. Maybe it can send me home. She braced herself for excruciating pain. To her surprise, Tian Xianzi planted his hands on the ground, shielding her with his body. It's just a heavenly tribulation. Nothing to fear, he said. But your spiritual roots and meridians haven't opened yet. If you're struck, you'll surely die. I will endure this tribulation for you and break the first seal. Then you can begin your cultivation. As soon as he finished speaking, bolts of lightning crashed down. The medicine immortal quickly pushed his new disciple away, taking the full brunt of the attack. He declared with forced cheerfulness, young one, you would go to such lengths for a brother not of your blood. I can entrust the mysterious medicine sect to you with peace of mind. His words sounded suspiciously like a final farewell. Indeed, with the final strike, the renowned medicine immortal strained every muscle, his eyes wide as he endured the agonizing blow. He noticed Dianka running towards him and warned, don't come any closer. It's dangerous. After the tribulation, the sky cleared. Dianka rushed to his side, crying out, you old fool. Why did you do that? This tribulation had nothing to do with you. Tian Xianzi, his voice gentle, summoned a spiritual pill and offered it to her. The path ahead will depend on you, he advised. This is the secret art of the mysterious medicine sect. Open it when your cultivation reaches a certain level. You will understand the techniques within. Remember to cultivate diligently. He then attempted to leave, his body frail, but Dianka stopped him. Old man, are you all right? He didn't look back, saying coldly, I said, if you truly don't want to inherit the mysterious medicine sect, then find a successor for me. Dianka, ever grateful, replied seriously, if I have accepted you as my master, then the affairs of the mysterious medicine sect are my affairs. You endured the tribulation for me, broke the seal for me. Even if it wasn't what I wanted, you showed me great kindness. I will keep my promise. Don't worry, old man. Before I die, I will find a worthy successor for the mysterious medicine sect. Relieved, the old man said, that's good. Then, like a gust of wind, he vanished, leaving Dianka to suddenly remember her original purpose. You haven't saved my brother yet, she yelled. The voice of the departing medicine immortal, carried on the wind, replied, he's already fine. This scene left Yanka utterly speechless. The sudden replay of this memory caused the demon empress to lower her eyes. Tian Xianzi, she thought, this is the second debt of gratitude I owe you. Back then, I didn't know the price of breaking a celestial seal. Although your cultivation was profound, you were still just a cultivator of the lower realm. How could a cultivator of the lower realm withstand the powerful seal of the upper realm? It was an exchange of life force, nothing more. If I had known it would be the last time we met, I would have been a little more courteous. Later, within the heavenly Tao mirror, Luo Ziyin finally recovered enough to walk on his own. Yanka led the little boy, venturing out. Along the way, she remained puzzled. The sword sect had been recruiting inner disciples for several days now. Anyone interested could go and have their spiritual roots and bloodline tested. That woman told me to bring Ziyin to the sword sect, but she didn't specify who to look for. However, as long as he can enter the sword sect, his life will be secure. I'll bring him in first, then find another opportunity to slip away. Having him with me is inconvenient. After walking for a long time, they finally reached the foot of the mountain. Suddenly, Luo Ziyin's face crumpled. The boy then collapsed on the ground, crying with snot running down his face, wailing, "Brother, I can't walk anymore. Can't we just not go to this sword sect?" Having accepted the task, Yanka firmly pulled him up, saying, "We must go. There's no other way." After much struggle, they finally reached the sword sect's gate. In front of it stood a colossal pillar, and a long line of people queued before it. Occasionally, booming voices could be heard. Third grade spiritual root. Second grade bloodline. Congratulations. Please come this way. It turned out that this was the sword sect's method of assessing strength for disciple recruitment. Yanka began to scout around, praying for little Ziyin to pass smoothly. But somehow, when Luo Ziyin touched the stone tablet, the words waste spiritual root, mortal bloodline appeared. This result shocked her. Waste spiritual root. How is that possible? Mister, are you mistaken? My brother is intelligent, lively, well-learned, and his appearance is top-notch. How could he have a waste spiritual root? The official disciple responded indifferently. If you're not satisfied, you can enter the sword tomb. If you can retrieve a sword from within, then even with a waste spiritual root, the Sword Heart sect will make an exception and accept him. Upon hearing that the sword tomb was a dangerous place, Yanka's eyes lit up, her spirits soaring. "If I succeed, will you accept my brother?" Thus, Yanka instructed Ziyin to wait obediently for her return. Feeling invigorated, she strode off, thinking, if I die in the sword tomb, I'll bring Senior Tian Xianzi's medical arts back to the modern era and let them shine there. That way, I won't have broken my promise. Halfway there, Yanka was drawn back by shouts behind her. Impossible! How could I have a waste spiritual root? Recognizing a similar situation, the official disciple said, "Young Yuan, if you're dissatisfied, you can follow that kid's example and enter the sword tomb. If you can survive and bring out a sword, you can become a direct disciple of the Sword Heart sect." Looking at the disgruntled expression of the newcomer, Yanka quickly guessed that this was the male lead, Xiao Ju. Although she tried to greet him with good intentions, he coldly brushed past her, leaving Yanka feeling snubbed. While she was still sulking, Xiao Ju, with a look of disdain, thought, "Trying to flatter me, so I'll look after you in the sword tomb. Dream on." With that, he walked straight to the entrance of the sword tomb. But Yanka clung close behind with the speed of a cheetah. Xiao Ju cursed under his breath, annoying, trying to steal my opportunity. While he was still frowning, she, with a giggle, rushed ahead, thinking the sword tomb must be full of traps. This time, I'll definitely go home. Her fleeting moment of joy was shattered when Xiao Ju, the novel's male lead, shoved her aside, trying to steal my opportunity. "Don't even dream of it," he sneered. Fuming, Yanka glared at him. "What's wrong with this guy? He calls himself cool, but he's so rude." Xiao Ju smirked. "This young master wants to go first. Let's see who dares to stop me." Thoroughly annoyed, Yanka shoved him back. "Move aside. Don't block my way." Her defiance made Xiao Ju frown. There must be something good inside, he thought. Otherwise, why would this kid be in such a hurry? With that, he took off after her, yelling, "Don't you dare push me. You won't get away with this." Moments later, both were deep within the sword tomb. Xiao Ju, burdened by the oppressive aura, grumbled, "So dizzy. My legs feel so heavy. The deeper we go, the stronger the pressure becomes." He scowled at Yanka, muttering, "Why is that kid moving so effortlessly? I absolutely refuse to lose to him." Despite his determination, his body had its limits. Blood trickled from his nose under the tomb's oppressive force. Concerned, Dianka said softly, "Kid, if you want to live, don't go any deeper. This isn't a place you can handle." Weakened, Xiao Ju stubbornly retorted, "Don't worry about me." Dianka coughed. "Let me tell you, this isn't a place for mortals like you. Who knows what will happen if you go deeper?" Dianka sensed something strange about the sword tomb. Even as Xiao Ju faltered, she couldn't help but feel a pang of concern. "You're weak, and you won't admit it," she said. "Anyway, I've warned you. Whether you live or die is up to you. Goodbye, farewell." Leaving Xiao Ju behind, she pressed onward. Her farewell sounded final, but inwardly, Dianka was celebrating. "If I can find a shortcut out of here, modern world, here I come." Outside the Sword Heart sect, a middle-aged man appeared, surprised to hear that two youngsters had entered the sword tomb. He learned that both possessed waste spiritual roots. Within the heavenly Tao mirror, the celestial emperor Qin Yang cried out, "Master, it's Master. Immortal Yuan Chun showed me immense kindness. Even though I had a waste spiritual root, he accepted me as his disciple and patiently guided me. Without him, there would be no Changshao today. But how could you have so cruelly murdered such a good man?" Luo Ziyin passionately praised his master, but his gaze turned sorrowful as it fell on Dianka. "Brother, you're so foolish," he murmured. Inside the mirror, immortal Yuan Chun stroked his beard, scoffing, "Two worthless wastes think they can escape the sword tomb." "No, Master," a disciple beside him corrected, pointing at Luo Ziyin. "He's the one with the waste spiritual root. That kid, Dianka, said if he can retrieve a sword, we'll accept the other one as a disciple." Yuan Chun glanced at Luo Ziyin. "Does he even deserve it?" He sneered. The disciple hesitated. "Then, what are your intentions, Master?" Yuan Chen's disdain was evident. "If that Dianka brat makes it out alive, I'll accept this waste. If not, I'll send him on his way." He glared at Luo Ziyin with utter contempt. Within the heavenly Tao mirror, Qin Yang was stunned by Yuan Chen's words and actions. Frozen, he stammered, "Impossible. The master of my memories was kind and gentle, always caring for me. How could he look at me like that? There must be some mistake. It has to be." Luo Ziyin, at a loss for words, looked awkwardly at the crowd behind him. "After Master accepts me as his disciple, things will be different." But the onlookers exchanged knowing glances, silently mocking the idea of such immense kindness. However, a small, enthusiastic faction, eager to witness the demon empress's descent into darkness, readily shoved the onlookers aside. Inside the mirror of death, Dianka, battered and bruised, crawled painfully through the sword tomb. Clicking her tongue, she lamented, "Why is this so difficult? Ugh, dying is harder than I thought." But duty called. With a grunt of effort, Dianka pulled out a sword. The moment the blade emerged, a tremendous force blasted her backward. Like a ragdoll tossed by a giant, she flew. "Oof," Dianka gasped, finally realizing the sheer power of the sword's chi within the tomb. "So, that's how potent they are," she mused, a predatory grin spreading across her face. Her goal was death, and a thrilling new plan formed in her mind. "I'll just pull them all out." One by one, Dianka drew the swords from their resting places within the tomb. Battered by the relentless onslaught of sword chi, she swayed on her feet. This display of vulnerability even moved Mo Chonglu to comment, "He does all this for Luo Ziyin, but he's never done anything like this for me, not even once." Finally, after witnessing half of Dianka's agonizing ordeal, Luo Ziyin collapsed. The crowd panicked, rushing to his side. "What happened?" "Celestial Emperor Qin Yang, are you all right?" One curious onlooker reached towards the barrier of the mirror of death. "Is there something wrong with the sword tomb itself?" He wondered, touching the surface. Instantly, his life force was drained, leaving him withered and aged in a blink. The surrounding crowd erupted in chaos. "His Tao heart is destroyed. Back away. Everyone, get back from the barrier." They stared in horror at Dianka, murmuring amongst themselves, "This is no ordinary sword tomb, like the rumors say. Could this be the legendary sword tomb left behind by the Golden Sparrow God? Only an ancient deity like him could create a tomb capable of shattering one's Tao heart." Their attention, for once, focused on Dianka with a flicker of genuine concern. Is the demon empress going mad? Pulling out one sword is enough to pass the test. Why is she pulling out more when she's already so injured? Is she plotting something? If this is truly the Golden Sparrow God sword tomb, could she have known about the test beforehand? Is that why she's persisting? Public opinion shifted abruptly. Someone spoke up, their voice serious. Perhaps she's not mad, but simply lost consciousness, unaware that she's already retrieved a sword. She's acting purely on instinct. After all, this sword tomb can destroy even a celestial's Tao heart, let alone a child's. In her mind, this must be incredibly important, so important that she'd rather die than give up. The others, hearing this, nodded in agreement. So that's it. The demon empress cared that much for celestial Emperor Qingyong. Luo Ziyin, hearing the whispers, was overwhelmed with conflicting emotions. He pounded on the barrier, shouting at Dianka, "Why are you doing this? I don't need you to do this." But his cries went unheeded. Dianka continued to pull swords from the tomb. Luo Ziyin trembled, tears welling in his eyes. Stop it, you fool," he sobbed, feeling unworthy of such sacrifice. He didn't deserve this. Meanwhile, Zheng Ji remained seated within the barrier, observing the scene with weary amusement. These days, everyone, mortal or immortal, seems to love making a fuss, he muttered. Truly, the joys and sorrows of humankind are not alike. They're as loud as my neighbors singing karaoke. Inside the mirror of death, the tiny figure of Dianka dragged herself forward, inch by agonizing inch. "I can't even stand anymore," she gasped, struggling to breathe. "Just one more sword, and I can finally die. Nothing can stop me from going home now." And with that, the episode ended. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel and motivate me to continue. With the last of her strength, Dianka reached for the final sword. Then, inexplicably, all 10 of her fingers snapped clean off. Agony ripped through her, but she merely commented, "Oh, they're off, are they? Fine, I'll use my head." Without hesitation, she rammed her skull against the last sword, dislodging it from its place. This brutal display left the onlookers speechless, then buzzing with excitement. Demon Empress Dianka just headbutted a sword. Incredible. Truly worthy of a demon empress. She has what it takes to become a supreme ruler. If it were me, I would have given up long ago. Suddenly, they noticed something strange and held their breath. Guys, are the swords humming? Indeed, within the mirror of death, a sword hovered ominously above Dianka's head, threatening to end her life at any moment. It began to absorb the sword chi from the sword she had pulled, glowing brighter and brighter. Then, with a flash of light, it transformed into a beautiful young man with snow-white hair. He emerged with a flourish, proclaiming, "After 10,000 years, I have finally found my successor." With a flick of his wrist, the countless swords within the tomb rose into the air, coalescing with the one hovering above. As the now massive sword slowly descended, its potent sword chi began to seep into the consciousness of the dying Dianka. Then, miraculously, her fingers regenerated, and her eyes snapped open, much to her dismay. Panicked, she stared at the silver-haired man and shrieked, "What in the world? Who are you?" But more importantly, tears welled up. The game was over. She was healed. The spectral youth fixed her with a stern gaze. "Child, you're now my heir. Kneel." Dianka, frustrated at being denied death, snapped back, "Kneel my ass. I kneel to no one but my parents. Who the hell are you to demand my obedience?" Taken aback by her outburst, the spectral figure's expression darkened. Perhaps she was trying to provoke him into killing her. But then he burst into laughter. "Excellent. A worthy successor indeed. Such spirit." Sensing her confusion, he explained, "You have accepted my sword heart. Whether you like it or not, you are my heir." Dianka immediately retorted, "I don't like it." She muttered to herself, "Sword heart. Sounds like trouble. I don't need it. One heir is enough of a headache, let alone two." She gestured towards the unconscious Xiao Ju. "No, give it to him. I don't want it." But the spectral figure simply stated, "He is not worthy." Seeing her stubbornness, he thrust the sword towards her. As soon as she grasped it, thunder boomed outside. The spectral figure winced. Before he could finish, he burst through the roof of the tomb and shouted back, as expected of my chosen heir, "I'll give you a hand with this." A second heavenly tribulation descended. The spectral figure bravely faced the onslaught, shielding Dianka from its destructive power. The commotion roused Xiao Ju. He ran over, eyeing the sword in Dianka's grasp. "Brat," he said, "don't you feel any pain? I heard what you and that old geezer said. If you don't want the sword, can you give it to me?" Dianka, desperate to escape, struggled against him. "I'm not a god, of course I feel pain. Are you blind?" And who are you calling brat? And don't interrupt me, or I'll forget what I was saying. I came to the sword tomb to get a sword. This is my little brother's chance to join the sect, so back off. I'm not giving you the sword. She glanced at Xiao Ju, thinking, not feeling pain on my quest for death is actually a plus. But I'll have to fake it later, or these people will get suspicious. Meanwhile, Xiao Ju stared at the sword, a scheme brewing in his mind. With this sword, I can join the sect. Once I'm in the sword sect, I can avenge the Xiao clan. Fueled by this ambition, Xiao Ju was determined to seize the sword. He wrestled with Di Yanka, a pang of guilt hitting him. I'm sorry, he thought, but I have to have this sword. Di Yanka, equally unwilling to yield, tried to push him away. But somehow, a gentle shove turned into a powerful palm strike, sending Xiao Ju sprawling against the wall. Di Yanka sighed ruefully. Looks like that phantom just broke another one of my seals. Not only is my strength back, but I'm as light as a feather. Why is the threshold of death getting higher and higher? Xiao Ju struggled to his feet, only to be knocked unconscious again by a falling rock. This guy's protagonist's luck is unbelievable, she thought. Rocks were falling everywhere, but none hit her. Exasperated, Di Yanka hoisted Xiao Ju onto her shoulder. Forget it, she thought. If I can't die, then fine. Consider this saving your dog life, Mr. Protagonist. You can repay me by attending my funeral later. The commotion from the collapsing tomb reached Luo Ziyin, who rushed over, shouting, "Brother." The moment she heard his voice, the cave collapsed. Di Yanka's face paled. "Luo Ziyin," she cried, frantically digging through the rubble. "I told you to wait. Why did you come here?" She overturned rocks, praying, "Please, God, let that little idiot be okay." If anything happened to Luo Ziyin, she wouldn't be able to face his mother. Suddenly, Immortal Yuan Chun descended from above. "Boy," he said coldly, "what happened in the sword tomb? Why was it struck by lightning? Did you obtain something?" Unable to find Luo Ziyin, Di Yanka was in a state of panic and couldn't process his words. Infuriated, Immortal Yuan Chun lashed out. "Boy," he warned, "I'll ask you one more time. What happened in the sword tomb? Did you obtain something?" But Di Yanka was focused solely on finding Luo Ziyin. Losing his patience, Immortal Yuan Chun grabbed her by the throat. Despite being choked, she remained silent. Finally, Immortal Yuan Chun snapped. "You're courting death." Luo Ziyin, watching the scene unfold, was stunned. "Brother, why? Why is it like this? How could Master be like this?" He recalled a different Immortal Yuan Chun, one who was always gentle. "Ziyin, these are body-strengthening pills I specially made for you. Eat them." "Ziyin, these are spiritual herbs I traveled thousands of miles to find for you. Do you like them?" He couldn't trust his memories anymore. Inside the mirror of death, Di Yanka continued to provoke Immortal Yuan Chun. "Go on, kill me then." Enraged, he replied, "Fine, I will grant you your wish." Just as Immortal Yuan Chun was about to strike, a surge of protective talismans erupted, encasing him and holding him back. Abruptly, the old man released Di Yanka, setting her gently on the ground. With a newfound seriousness, he declared, "You, boy, I can take you as my disciple." Coughing, Di Yanka retorted, "It's not impossible for me to become your disciple, but you have to save my little brother first." The immortal, however, was uncooperative. "How ludicrous," he scoffed. "The chance to become my disciple is a blessing you've earned over several lifetimes. What right do you have to make demands? If I so wished, I could have you dead and buried in an instant." The words dead and buried sparked a sudden, perverse excitement in Di Yanka. She challenged him, "Go on then. Kill me. I dare you. If I flinch, I lose. If you weren't so quick to threaten people with death, I wouldn't even consider becoming your disciple." Realizing the boy was seriously considering the discipleship, Immortal Yuan Chun hastily compromised. "Fine," he conceded. With a flick of his wrist, he blasted apart the towering pile of rubble. From beneath the shattered rocks, Di Yanka finally spotted Luo Ziyin. She started to rush towards him, but the old man called out from behind, "I've found him for you. Now, will you become my disciple?" Di Yanka continued running towards her brother, calling back, "Not yet. You have to save him and protect him for the rest of his life." It dawned on Immortal Yuan Chun that he'd been played by a snot-nosed brat. He snarled, "Do you believe I'll just kill him instead?" But Di Yanka, knowing she held the upper hand, boldly declared, "If you dare lay a finger on him, I'll go with him." Driven to the brink by her audacity, the old immortal roared, "You wretched child, don't push me too far." After a moment of furious contemplation, Immortal Yuan Chun finally gritted out, "Fine, it's just one useless life. It's not like I can't afford to feed another mouth. I agree to your terms. Celestial Emperor Qing Yang, observing from the mirror of death, felt a pang of loss. His eyes darkened as he mocked himself. To think I'd be accepted as a mortal Yuan, Qin's disciple under such circumstances. There's no such thing as coincidental mentorship. His kindness towards me is all because of Di Yanka. Unable to bear any more emotional turmoil, Luo Ziyin moved to recall the heavenly Dao mirror. Judges, he announced, that's enough with Di Yanka. This ends here. Long, Yin immediately lunged forward, grappling with him. What are you saying? Even if Di Yanka was once kind to you, what about her crimes against the people? What gives you the right to make this decision for everyone? But Luo Ziyin was exhausted. He said apathetically, I don't care about the people. I just want to save my brother. Di Yanka, watching from above, sighed and interjected, Luo Ziyin, don't flatter yourself. Everything I do has a purpose. It's not just for you. Hearing this, Qin Yang hesitated, wanting to apologize. But Di Yanka preferred the misunderstanding to persist. He only hears what he wants to hear, sees what he wants to see. Let him think what he wants. I'll take my leave, she announced. When will this trial finally end? She muttered to herself. When can I finally go home? I've lived long enough. The scene abruptly shifted to the sword sect's secret chamber. Di Yanka, where he asked, why have you brought me here? Immortal Yuan Chun, holding a pair of pliers, gave a chilling smile. You'll find out soon enough. With that, he clamped the pliers onto Xiao Ju's fingernail. He ripped it out, saying indifferently, tell me, boy. Tell me everything that happened inside the sword tomb. Xiao Ju screamed in agony. He tried to suppress his cries, his body trembling. Di Yanka couldn't stand it any longer. Old man, she shouted, if you have something to do it to me. What kind of righteous sect uses torture? He looked at her, a dark smile spreading across his face. Di Yanka, he sneered, I can't touch you. But this boy's life, no one can guarantee his safety. If you lay another hand on him, Di Yanka warned, I'll deal with you. Seeing Immortal Yuan Shan about to strike again, she blurted out, wait, I inherited something from an old man in the sword tomb. I can save Xiao Ju's remaining fingernails. When pressed for details, Di Yanka sighed dramatically. How should I know what I inherited? I can't even use it. It's just a bunch of swords that fly around. If you want it, dig it out yourself. It's in my forehead. Immortal Yuan Chun narrowed his eyes. If you're lying to me, he threatened, I won't spare him. With that, he vanished in a puff of smoke. Di Yanka clicked her tongue. Seriously, what does his life have to do with me? And you, elder, she muttered to herself, gesturing towards where the immortal had been, your brain is clearly addled. Turning to the more pressing matter at hand, Di Yanka asked Xiao Ju, are you all right? Why didn't you tell him? Xiao Ju simply retorted coldly, what's it to you? Seeing the boy's prickly demeanor, Di Yanka relented. All right, consider you righteous. As a reward, I'll give you that broken sword I picked up in the sword tomb. Xiao Ju's eyes lit up. Di Yanka continued, I was going to use it to get my brother into the sword sect. But if I don't need it, you can have it. It's ugly anyway. I don't like it. But when Xiao Ju asked where the sword was, Di Yanka smirked. I hid it. You have to agree to one condition first. You can't like me. Her unfinished sentence left Xiao Ju stunned. His face flushed. Like you, he stammered. Di Yanka nodded. Exactly. You have to promise. When you get stronger, you have to treat me like your enemy. Constantly challenge me until you kill me. Xiao Ju stared at her, bewildered. That's your condition. Di Yanka confirmed, that's right. Xiao Ju thought to himself, this kid's brain is definitely broken. Just then, a puff of smoke appeared, and Immortal Yuan Chun materialized, beaming at Di Yanka. My dear disciple, he said, I've put you through quite an ordeal. Unable to speak freely, Di Yanka subtly winked at Xiao Ju, reminding him of their agreement. Understood, Xiao Ju mouthed back. Immortal Yuan Chen cleared his throat and adopted a benevolent tone. I had to resort to unconventional methods with you too. It was out of necessity. The Celestial Eye sect forced my hand, he continued. They believe their position as head of the 7 great sects gives them the right to bully smaller schools like ours. If I hadn't made a scene, they would have taken you to catch ghosts. Ghost catching, you see, is a particularly dangerous technique. It can cloud the mind, leaving one incapacitated. Everything I did was for your own good. You understand, don't you? Di Yanka, unimpressed by his long-winded explanation, retorted, I think your cultivation is just too weak to catch ghosts yourself. Immortal Yuan Chun choked, then coughed to cover his embarrassment. My disciple has quite the sense of humor, he chuckled. Your brother has been brought back to our sect. My daughter is taking care of him personally. I'll take you to see him. He then looked pointedly angrily at Xiao Ju. What is your relationship with him? Both Dianka and Xiao Ju answered in unison, their voices dripping with disdain. We're not acquainted. Immortal Yuan, Chun looked down at Xiao Ju. Technically speaking, with your mortal bloodline and crippled spiritual root, you shouldn't have passed the Sword Tomb trial. I shouldn't take you as a disciple, but I value talent and can't bear to see you waste away in the mortal realm. So, become my disciple and stay at the Sword Heart sect. Xiao Ju knelt and loudly declared his gratitude to his master. This scene touched Dianka, who thought to herself, he really is the male lead. Tortured one moment, and the next, he's letting go of all resentment. And so, the two youngsters trailed after immortal Yuan Chun. Xiao Ju stared at the immortal's back, vowing silently, no matter how I'm treated, I must persevere. Dianka rushed to immortal Yuan Chen's residence. Upon arrival, she met his daughter, Jiru. However, Yanka was only concerned about her brother, Luo Ziyin. Yet, Jiru nonchalantly asked, Sister Jiru, everything has a cause and effect. The reason for Luo Ziyin's current state went back a few hours. Immortal Yuan Chun had seriously asked his daughter, he's just a good-for-nothing. Why are you personally taking care of him? Jiru cunningly replied, Father, how could you not have figured it out yet? Luo Ziyin and Dianka share a deep sibling bond. If I entrusted his care to someone else, how could I expect Dianka to obediently comply? I've already erased all of Luo Ziyin's memories of that little brat. Yanka, from now on, the closest person to him will be me. My dear brother, if the person he relies on most is me, then tell me, Father, wouldn't Dianka be influenced by us? Immortal Yuan Chen nodded, but with some apprehension, said, but I've already shown my true colors to her. I'm afraid she won't trust me anymore. Jiru confidently declared, no man can refuse the gentleness of a beautiful woman. Luo Ziyin is no exception, and neither is Dianka. Before Yanka could fully process the situation, Jiru proactively extended her hand and greeted her. I didn't realize you were so young yet so brave. From now on, this is your home. Uemi Eru. I've always been in charge of Ziyin's care. You can call me Sister Jiru, just like him. Just now, I saw that Ziyin was seriously injured. In my haste, I transferred too much spiritual energy to wake him up. I didn't expect my spiritual energy to clash with his, causing damage to his memories. You won't blame Sister Jiru, will you? Dianka would have to be a fool not to recognize Jiru's ulterior motives. Inwardly, she praised, as expected of the number one female antagonist, making both the male lead and the villain fight over her. Such looks, such methods, truly impressive. Jiru smiled gently and said, Junior brother, from now on, you are my father's first disciple. Don't worry, I will take care of you. But in her heart, she already held disdain for Yanka, thinking, father is truly something. She's just a beggar who hasn't seen the world. Does she really deserve his attention? Being close to me is a privilege for you. Finishing her thought, she pulled Dianka along, saying, come quickly and see if you like the room I prepared for you. Luo Ziyin instinctively wanted to follow Jiru, but was immediately grabbed by the collar. She led Dianka to a rather airy room. Without any hesitation, Yanka plopped down on a chair and offered a perfunctory, it's all right. When Jiru asked, so, junior brother, do you need anything? I'll go prepare it. Yanka replied without any politeness. I want to bathe. Then prepare some food for me. Jiru's face darkened. Truly not a shred of courtesy. Maintaining her fake smile, she said, this is a foundation-building pill. One pill can sustain you for 3 days. Yanka obediently accepted the pill and popped it in her mouth, chewing. However, her face quickly contorted at the bitter taste. Next, Jiru continued her attempts at small talk, saying, Junior brother, I see you possess extraordinary talent and are quite handsome. You're sure to bring glory to the sect in the future. By the way, where is your home? Who else is in your family? What do your parents do? Yanka, of course, guessed her intentions. She started scratching her head dramatically and cried out, Senior sister, I think there's a bug crawling on me. Get off. As expected, Jiru froze. Seeing her jump up, Yanka continued relentlessly, what's wrong, senior sister? The moment Jiru said she was fine, Yanka darted towards her, exclaiming, then, senior sister, come help me catch these lice. Jiru clearly wanted Yanka to stay far away. Quickly, she executed a complete 360-degree turn in her demeanor, adopting a pitiful expression. Yanka said, Senior sister, are you disgusted by me? I know, I've been separated from my parents since I was young and have been wandering around. Hearing this, Ji-Ru quickly sat down and feigned sincerity, saying, "How could I? I was just thinking, junior brother Yanka is so outstanding. This path surely hasn't been easy for you." Feeling that the conversation had gone on long enough, Yanka pointed to her clothes and said, "Senior sister, we can talk about that later. I want to bathe first." This time, Ji-Ru cooperated readily. "Easy peasy," she said, and began to cast some sort of refreshing spell. In just half a second, Yanka's entire body was sparkling clean. This spell immediately sparked Yanka's curiosity. This world isn't so bad after all, she thought with amusement. I could take this spell back home and open a bathhouse. Wouldn't I make a fortune? And those fasting pills too. I could tweak the recipe, add some flavor, and bring them back. Not only would they be a great diet product, but they'd also save busy people time on lunch. Yanka gazed excitedly at the metaphorical shower of gold raining down, exclaiming, "Money, come to me. Money from all directions, come." Seeing Yanka practically drooling while looking in her direction, Ji-Ru somehow mistook her avarice for infatuation and inwardly cursed, "Pervert." But Yanka couldn't very well reveal her get-rich-quick scheme, so she played along with Ji-Ru, saying, "It's nothing. I was just thinking about you." As expected, Ji-Ru was delighted. "You flatter her," she said. "Well, you should rest. I'll come visit you again tomorrow." Ji-Ru gave Yanka a few more glances and smirked to herself. Audacious. In the end, I don't believe I won't be able to win you over. But she left so quickly that Yanka was left alone in the room, muttering, "Hold on. I still wanted to ask you about that bathing technique. Where are you running off to?" But Ji-Ru was already gone. So she had no choice but to pass the time with a meditation technique. Yanka closed her eyes slightly and murmured, "Saving others is less important than saving myself. I'll go explore my spiritual sea." The strange thing was, she closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, a month had passed. Even more frightening, the first thing she saw were two unshakable spirits, Immortal Yuan Shun and his daughter, staring intently at her. The old man was holding a roasted chicken, seemingly out of nowhere, and said, "Disciple, are you hungry? Master brought you some delicious food from the mortal realm." Yanka was utterly bewildered. What's going on? Did this old man grab the wrong script? Or did I get transported again? Noticing Yanka's continued silence, Immortal Yuan Shun gestured to his daughter. "Don't you like it? I'll have her prepare something else. Ji-Ru, go." Ji-Ru, following her father's instructions, brought forth a mountain of delicacies and gently asked if her junior brother liked any of them. Immortal Yuan Shun, for some reason, maintained a fixed, artificial smile. "Disciple," he said, "focus on your cultivation. As for your younger brother, Master will treat him like my own son. He will be served delicious food every day. He won't suffer any injustice." At this point, Yanka finally snapped back to reality, sighing inwardly, "I knew it. He's using Zine to control me. Looks like the script hasn't changed. No dimensional travel this time." Thus reassured, Yanka comfortably accepted the roasted chicken and nonchalantly asked, "All right, what's going on?" Immortal Yuan Shun watched her gnaw on the chicken and asked, "Disciple, how did you reach the peak of the foundation establishment stage in just 1 month? What kind of inheritance did you receive?" Upon hearing this, even Yanka was stunned. 1 month, peak of foundation establishment. I only rested for a little while. She didn't know what was going on, but she certainly didn't want the old man to find out. So she spoke vaguely, "This inheritance, you wouldn't understand even if I told you. It's a secret that can't be divulged. Get it?" Seeing that he wouldn't get a straight answer, the old man relented. However, both he and Ji-Ru continued to stare intently at her, making Yanka wary. "Is there something else?" she asked defensively. Sure enough, the old man immediately launched into his next ploy. 2 years from now, there's a secret realm. The sect leader hopes you can represent the Sword Heart sect on this trip. Don't worry, Ji-Ru will take good care of your younger brother. This news was so unexpected that Yanka wanted to pry more information out of him. A secret realm? She asked. What kind of secret realm? Is it dangerous? Immortal Yuan Shun, the sly old fox, carefully chose his words. Not dangerous, he replied. The main thing is, only those under 15 years old can enter. He continued, inside, there are spiritual herbs, medicinal plants, immortal fruits, countless treasures. Most importantly, there's a treasure that can defy the heavens and reshape one's bones. Surely you wouldn't want to deny your brother the chance to defy fate and walk the path of cultivation. Yanka pondered this carefully. Under 15 can enter the secret realm. The The script seems to have this part. It's the first secret realm Xiao Ju enters after completing his initial cultivation. This secret realm is even more dangerous than the Sword Tomb. In the end, the male lead overcomes all difficulties and obtains quite a few spiritual medicines and artifacts. This sly old fox definitely has something up his sleeve. I'm not interested. As long as it's life-threatening, that's fine. Besides, there are 2 years. I need to learn that cleansing technique and how to make those lust suppression pills. Bringing those back home would be amazing. Seeing that Yanka still hadn't answered, Immortal Yuan Chun grew impatient and urged her for a response. Finally, she agreed, but on one condition. Immortal Yuan Chun gestured to his daughter, then said seriously, "As long as it's within my power, I will grant your request." Yanka, hearing this, said cheerfully, "I want to learn the spell senior sister Ji Ru used earlier. The cleansing technique for clothes and how to make lust suppression pills." Upon hearing this request, the old fox was taken aback, his mind filled with question marks. He stammered, "Just that." Yanka confirmed, 100% just that. He breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Easy as pie. You can go to the scripture pavilion. It has all the basic spells and low-level alchemy formulas. You can learn whatever you want." She happily agreed to the deal. After seeing off those 2 spirits, she turned to head back to her room. However, her gaze landed on Xiao Ju, who was standing in a corner, staring intently at her. Yanka paused and asked, "Did you get your sword back?" Xiao Ju honestly replied, "I did." But Yanka quickly turned less hospitable, asking, "So what are you doing here?" The male lead, slightly embarrassed, asked, "Can you tell me how you broke through to the peak of Foundation establishment in just 1 month?" Knowing why Xiao Ju had sought her out, Yanka stroked her nose and gave him a supercilious answer. "Need you ask?" she said haughtily. "Naturally, it's because I'm a genius. You want to catch up to me. Give it 800 years. Yanka laughed heartily at him. Xiao Ju now realized how foolish he'd been to seek her out. He frowned and declared, "In 2 years, I will definitely catch up to you. Just you wait." But she didn't take him seriously, continuing to provoke him. 2 years? You're saying you need 2 years to catch up to my current level? You're so weak." Faced with Yanka's mockery, Xiao Ju didn't say a word, but simply turned and left. Driven by her entrepreneurial spirit, Yanka dragged herself to the scripture pavilion early the next morning. After looking around, she couldn't help but exclaim, "So many spells." Next, Yanka diligently picked up books, happily muttering, found it. The fireball technique. Good stuff. I can save on fuel for cooking and boiling water later. I can make a fireball to roast meat. I could even set up a stall and sell food. And there's the freezing technique. Learn that, and I won't have to worry about air conditioning bills in the summer. Heck, I could use it to go deep sea fishing. Free seafood. Here I come. Alchemy, refining, tool crafting. Amazing. I'll build my own flying dragon. After a whirlwind of gleeful browsing, Yanka finally emerged with a mountain of books. Her eyes sparkled with avarice. "The god of wealth has smiled upon me. I'm going to be rich." She quickly buried herself in her studies, adopting the motto, "For the sake of my riches, studying is paramount." A living testament to this principle, she reminded herself and any hypothetical audience that diligent study is the key to becoming a wealthy woman. 2 years flew by like a dog chasing a rabbit across a field. Within the Sword Heart sect, a tremendous boom suddenly erupted from Xiao Ju's quarters. Jiru, slightly concerned, gently asked her father, "That kid we picked up with Yanka seems to have broken through. Aren't you going to check on him?" Immortal Yuan Chun responded with a dismissive sniff. 2 years of day and night toil just to reach the peak of Foundation establishment. What's there to see? He's a waste of space. Jiru, still worried, persisted, "But what if Yanka finds out you treat her friend like this? Aren't you afraid?" Before she could finish, the old man cut her off. "Don't worry, they're not friends. I asked." Reassured, Yeru smiled sweetly. As always, father thinks of everything. After enduring waves of agonizing pain, Xiao Ju finally regained consciousness. His eyes shone with elation. "Finally, I've reached the peak of Foundation establishment." With newfound strength surging through him, he leaped to his feet and raced towards the scripture pavilion. Gazing at the imposing building, he murmured, "Yanka, you haven't left your studies for 2 years, and your cultivation hasn't progressed at all. I'm here to see you." Upon opening the door, Xiao Ju was met with the sight of a gigantic fireball. Instead of fear, however, he felt a surge of excitement. Such childish tricks, he scoffed, and you dare bring them to my door. With that, he drew his sword and slashed at the fiery sphere. Childish indeed. His single strike caused the entire scripture pavilion to explode. Immortal Yuan Chun and Ji Ru rushed to the scene, aghast. What was that? What happened? They finally spotted Dianka emerging from the billowing smoke, hauling Xiao Ju over her shoulder. Which scoundrel dared to sneak attack me? She roared. I finally managed to create a new alchemy furnace. Immortal Yuan Chun, frantic with worry, cried, Disciple, are you all right? When the world caused the scripture pavilion to explode. Since he asked, Dianka felt obliged to answer truthfully. I had a brilliant idea to modify a fireball into a portable alchemy furnace, she explained. Saves money, saves space, and I can cook, heat the room, and refine pills all at once. But the moment I summoned the fireball, someone attacked me. Dianka, convinced that Xiao Ju was the culprit, added with a touch of pity. You really have rotten luck. Of all the times to show up, you had to pick the moment of detonation. So weak and so unlucky. She pulled a handful of vials from her robes and offered them to the old fox. Here are the discarded pills from the past few days. Before he could take them, another figure snatched the vials. I'll dispose of these discarded pills, a voice boomed. I am the sect leader of the Sword Heart sect, Yuan Yuzhenren. Perhaps you haven't heard of me in your 2 years holed up in the scripture pavilion. Dianka immediately bod. Sect leader. Then, with a serious expression, she declared, even if I've blown up countless Sword Heart sect assets, you haven't blamed me. When I enter the secret realm, I promise to bring back the finest spiritual herbs for you. The sect leader, clearly fond of Dianka, drew his own sword. Your sincerity is commendable, he said. However, the dangers within the secret realm are unpredictable. Be cautious. I have something here that's suitable for a cultivator at the peak of Foundation establishment. Sect leader Yuan Yuzhenren's act of gifting the sword stunned both Jiru and Immortal Yuan Chun. With a serious expression, he said, take this sword. You need it more than I do. Immortal Yuan Chun immediately protested. Sect leader, this is a spiritual sword, the one you carry with you. Number 55. But the old man, despite stroking his beard thoughtfully, calmly agreed to give the sword to Dianka. This made her suspicious. A sect leader with restless subordinates. For the sake of the sect's development, he's willing to part with a spiritual treasure and give me spiritual herbs whenever I need them, even if I blow up buildings. This sect leader isn't simple. Feeling a twinge of guilt, Dianka said softly, right, sect leader Yuan Yu, these are the pills I refined. 1 bottle is for you. Please give the other 2 to Luo Ziyin for me. He might not need them now, but he definitely will in the future. The sect leader looked at the handful of pills Dianka offered, sighing inwardly, this kid. He doesn't even hesitate to give them away. After handing over the medicine, Dianka cheerfully excused herself, saying, I'm going to rest now. Immortal Yuan Chun quickly seized the opportunity, whispering, Sect leader, since you have the finished product now, these discarded pills. He didn't get to finish his sentence before the sect leader cut him off, his face darkening. If it weren't for my disciple telling me, would you have continued selling all of Dianka's discarded pills outside? Their effectiveness is impeccable. How long did you intend to keep this a secret and hoard them for yourself? Caught red-handed, Immortal Yuan Chun stammered, I just couldn't bear to see you so busy, sect leader, so I took the liberty of handling the discarded pills myself. You're getting on in years. Tired of arguing with the younger man, the sect leader simply said coldly, you think you're always right. And with that, he vanished in a puff of smoke. Seeing her father's anger, Ji-Ru tried to offer a solution. Wanting pills is easy, father. Haven't you forgotten that Dianka's life is in our hands? Just watch, she said, a scheming glint in her eyes. Meanwhile, in Dianka's room, she was still admiring the sword the sect leader had given her. Sect leader Yuan Yu is so selfless, giving me such a good sword. I must treasure it. Suddenly, a knock came at the door. Junior brother Yin, are you asleep? Dianka opened the door without a second thought and politely asked senior sister Ji-Ru, what brings you here so late? Ji-Ru, pushing Luo Ziyin forward, simply said, you're leaving for the secret realm tomorrow. I brought Ziyin to visit you. While Dianka feigned enthusiasm, Luo Ziyin protested vehemently. Senior sister Ji-Ru, let's go back. Dianka, continuing her charade, cheerfully replied, I've been busy learning basic spells these past 2 years, so thank you for taking care of Ziyin, senior sister. If I return, I'll bring you a gift. Jiru seemed surprised. Really? After hearing D. Yanka confirm, she appeared touched. Actually, a gift isn't important, she said softly. Your safety is what matters most. If you encounter danger, protect yourself first, understand. This sudden tenderness was disarming. D. Yanka remained oblivious, lost in thought, until a shadow flitted past. Who's there? She shouted, chasing after the figure. She discovered it was Xiao Ju. His appearance startled her. Could he already be interested in the female lead? Is he trying to compete with Luo Ziyin? Wait, he seems to be looking at Jiru and me. Don't tell me he's jealous of me and Jiru. A chill ran down D. Yanka's spine, but her conscience, it seemed, had been devoured by a dog. A thrill of excitement coursed through her. If her suspicions were correct, this was going to be very interesting, fueled by this delicious misunderstanding. D. Yanka pulled Jiru's hand, ushering her into the room. Senior sister Jiru, it's cold outside. Coming quickly. Jiru, pleased by this solicitous treatment, replied, oh, all right. There's no need to rush. Inwardly, however, she sneered. If I'd known I could make him this infatuated with me, why bother keeping Luo Ziyin around? Meanwhile, D. Yanka, completely lost in her own fabricated drama, smiled at Xiao Ju, thinking, eat your heart out. With that, she slammed the door, leaving Xiao Ju standing alone outside. Inside, Luo Ziyin clung to Jiru, who, playing along, coyly asked, just now when junior brother D. Yin expressed his gratitude, how much of it was sincere. Still playing the part of the lovesick admirer, D. Yanka thumped her chest dramatically. I'm completely and utterly sincere. Jiru, inwardly disgusted, thought all men are the same. Big or small, they're all the same. However, her goal was to probe D. Yanka's intentions, so she pressed further. Can you prove it, junior brother? It's often said that men are the most fickle creatures. If you can't prove your sincerity, how can I be reassured? But somehow, their conversation became a game of crossed wires. D. Yanka, interpreting Jiru's words through the lens of her own experience, thought, in my experience, when a woman starts emphasizing feelings, she definitely wants a gift. Confident in her deduction, she declared, I understand, senior sister. Wait for me. D. Yanka then rushed to her chest, muttering to herself, now what to give her. Finally, she exclaimed, this will definitely prove my sincerity. Jiru waited expectantly, but to her utter bewilderment, D. Yanka presented her with a piece of undergarment. Senior sister, look, this is a youthful gathering dragon undergarment. It's incredibly soft and has multiple benefits. It's not constricting at all and very comfortable to wear. D. Yanka beamed with pride at her creation. When I first arrived, I noticed that the undergarments women wore here offered no support whatsoever. They were just a layer of cloth. How could that be comfortable? I'm giving you this intimate and precious gift. You must be so happy, senior sister. D. Yanka was truly and deeply proud of her gift. However, her enthusiasm was met with a swift slap across the face. Jiru, dragging Luo Ziyin behind her, stormed off, yelling, pervert. D. Yanka, utterly confused, chased after her, still clutching the undergarment. Senior sister, trust me, it's very comfortable to wear. But Jiru was gone. Instead, D. Yanka ran into Xiao Ju, who had been standing outside her door the entire time. D. Yanka coldly told him to get lost. Then, her face paling, she thought, I suddenly feel like a pervert. Why is that? The scene of D. Yanka offering the undergarment to Jiru earned her considerable backlash from the audience watching from outside the story. They frowned and cursed her as lewd and shameless. I thought the Demon Emperor only liked men. I didn't expect her to be into both, and to carry women's undergarments around. Those are intimate apparel. This is truly depraved and immoral. Inside the heavenly Tao mirror, D. Yanka smugly taunted the viewers. Are you jealous, my dear disciples, that I didn't give you intimate apparel? You were the ones crying and begging for dual cultivation with me. Now you're pulling up your pants and pretending you don't know me. This juicy gossip was so captivating that the audience's attention shifted to Mo Chonglu, who was angrily shouting, what are you looking at me for? Do you actually believe the Demon Emperor's nonsense? But D. Yanka, intent on causing chaos, continued, whether it's true or not, I'm not angry. Why are you so agitated? Mo Changliu's face turned crimson with rage, but Long Yin stopped him. Why bother arguing with the Demon Emperor? Whether she's innocent or not, only heaven and we know the truth. Hearing this, he snorted loudly, turned, and declared, we'll see how long your arrogance lasts. Back with Dianka and Xiao Ju, she, seemingly oblivious to the concept of embarrassment, seriously asked him, "What are you looking at? Do you want to wear it?" Xiao Ju didn't answer, instead turning and fleeing. Dianka, unfazed, draped the undergarment over her face and promptly fell asleep. Even in her slumber, however, a nagging thought persisted. My technique is so revolutionary, yet no one appreciates it. This is the loneliness of true artistry. The next morning, Jiru, true to form, arrived at Dianka's door at the crack of dawn, a bowl of soup in hand to rouse her. Dianka, drool still clinging to the corner of her mouth, bolted upright, wondering when did I fall asleep. Jiru sat gently beside her bed and apologized. "Junior brother, I'm so sorry. Last night, I was unreasonable. I didn't understand your painstaking efforts. You're not angry with me, are you?" Dianka, eyes already gleaming at the sight of food, exclaimed, not angry. "What are we having today? Tell me, tell me." This current situation stemmed from an incident 7 hours prior. Jiru had been scolded by immortal Yuan Shun. "You're so foolish. As long as he retrieves the Lingji we need from the secret realm, what does it matter if he takes a few liberties? Go apologize to him tomorrow morning. If you can't make him happy, don't bother coming back." And so, she now held the undergarment in her hands. Feigning shyness as she asked, "Do you still want to give this to me, junior brother?" Dianka, slightly surprised, replied, "Senior sister, you really like it." Seeing her nod, Dianka, overcome with the zeal of a true artisan, began to expound on her creation. "Wonderful. Senior sister, make sure you wear it. When I return from the secret realm, tell me how it feels, if there's anything that needs adjusting." With every word, Jiru's expression grew more strained. She forced a smile and said, "Of course, junior brother. I'll cherish your hard work." Inwardly, however, she seethed. This pervert. He gives it to me and then expects me to wear it and then report back to him. When you get back from the secret realm, I'll chop you into 1,000 pieces. Jiru, fuming, stood up, clutching the offending garment, but maintained a facade of gentle composure. "It's getting late. We should prepare for tomorrow's departure." After she left, Dianka, basking in the glow of her perceived success, mused, "This design is truly groundbreaking. It can solve the problems of so many women. My contributions are truly immeasurable." The next day finally arrived. The sect leader, Yuan Yujinren, along with Jiru and Luo Ziyin, gathered at the gates of the Sword Heart sect to see immortal Yuan Shun, Dianka, and Xiao Ju off. Upon reaching their transport, Xiao Ju obediently boarded the carriage. Only Dianka questioned the mode of travel, prompting the old fox, immortal Yuan Shun, to explain, "We should have flown on swords, but your and Xiao Ju's cultivation levels are still too low. My power can't carry both of you for the entire journey. You can use the travel time to refine pills, which will make the trip to the secret realm pass more quickly." Capitalism, it seemed, never rested, never allowing its employees a moment's peace. Dianka accepted the medicinal ingredients and climbed into the carriage, muttering under her breath, "Knew it. You had ulterior motives. All you care about are pills." Immortal Yuan Shun, beaming, called after her, "Disciple, focus on refining pills during this trip. If you need any ingredients, I'll find them for you." Before she could respond, the driver cracked his whip, urging the horses forward. Surprisingly, Dianka obediently followed the old fox's instructions. She conjured a small flame, pleased with herself. "This way, I won't burn the carriage down." Xiao Ju, who had been silent until now, suddenly spoke. "I heard you're going to the secret realm for your younger brother." Dianka was about to ask how he knew when. Xiao Ju continued, his voice serious. "He's not your biological brother. Why are you so good to him? Is it because his parents helped you?" With each word, Dianka's expression darkened. Her voice hardened as she demanded, "How do you know about this?" But Xiao Ju remained stubborn. "You answer my question first." But Dianka simply closed her eyes with an indifferent air and replied, "What does it have to do with you? We're not close." Her words ignited a spark of anger in Xiao Ju. Despite his rising temper, he managed to maintain a semblance of calm, asking, "Why do you do so much for him when he doesn't even know? Is it worth it?" Dianka furrowed her brow and snapped, "What's it to you? Are you so concerned?" Her simple, sharp retort, "Mind your own business," was enough to make Xiao Ju falter, a hesitant no escaping his lips. Oblivious to his hesitation, Dianka only grew more irritated. Then shut up. Can't you see I'm refining pills? I can't be distracted. Since she had put it so bluntly, Xiao Zhu fell silent. However, resentment simmered beneath the surface. He brooded silently, thinking, we both suffered the destruction of our sections. We both have crippled spiritual cores. Luo Xin doesn't have to do anything, and yet everyone fawns over him, feeding him the best food, dressing him in the finest clothes, giving him the grandest accommodations, while I have nothing. My life hangs by a thread, while you toil away in the scripture pavilion, refining piles of pills for him. You even risk entering the secret realm for him. Yanka, why are you so good to him? Xiao Zhu continued to steal glances at Dianka, but she remained focused on her pill refinement, even humming with excitement. It seems I've learned a decent amount of the current magical techniques. All that's left is that little bit. The inheritance of the profound medicine immortal sect is a bit troublesome, though. Still, I promised that old man. If I can't find someone to pass it on to before I die, well, he's the male lead after all. He should be able to inherit the profound medicine immortal sect and make it shine. Dianka glanced at Xiao Zhu, only to find him staring back at her. Their eyes met. Outside their mindscape, Luo Ziyin suddenly erupted, accusing Xiao Zhu of being indecent. What are you looking at? Who gave you permission to look? Gidge is mine. Luo Ziyin then proceeded to punch Xiao Zhu, scolding him. How dare you look at Gidge like that? The dregs in the tea are you. It's definitely worth it for Gidge. Luo Ziyin declared with an audacity that left everyone speechless. He then adopted a tragic air, touching Dianka's childhood form and lamenting dramatically, Gidge, don't go to the secret realm. Don't risk yourself for me. This embarrassing display caused both Mo Changlu and Long Yintan to groan in disgust. Isn't that brat just showing off? Why do I suddenly want to hit him? Even Dianka, the subject of this theatrical performance, shuddered, thinking, so disgusting. How can a cold beauty have such an expression? Unable to bear it any longer, she finally snapped, shut up, Luo Ziyin. Can you stop being so delusional? I'm doing this for myself. Stop putting gold on your face. Qingyang, the great emperor, within her, cheered silently, delighted that Dianka had finally spoken to him directly. Luo Ziyin, however, took her words as a sign that she was still angry and needed more convincing. With unwavering confidence, he declared, don't worry, Gidge. No matter what you become, you'll always be my Gidge, even if you're judged and struck by lightning. As if on cue, a clap of thunder boomed directly above Dianka. She looked at Luo Ziyin with an exasperated expression, thinking he talks like a lunatic. He's completely unhinged, beyond redemption. Even if your soul is scattered, I will accompany you. Luo Ziyin's disturbingly enthusiastic declaration was too much for Dianka to handle. Frowning, she roared like a lioness scram. The force of her mental command blasted the delusional Luo Ziyin out of her thoughts. Unfazed, Luo Ziyin collapsed dramatically onto the ground, wailing, it seems Gidge hasn't forgiven me yet. Mo Changlu and Long Yintan, witnessing their companion's humiliation, sighed in relief. That's more like it. Much better. Meanwhile, back in the mortal realm, the carriage carrying Dianka and Xiao Zhu finally arrived at the entrance to the secret realm. Immortal Yuan Chen's arrival naturally drew a fair amount of attention. He coughed and announced, I won't be participating. I'm just here to drop off these two disciples. Xiao Zhu, having just alighted from the carriage, carefully reminded Dianka, once we're inside the secret realm, you need to stay close to me. His words caused a slight flutter in Dianka's young heart. He's suddenly so serious, she thought, but being competitive was in her nature. With a mischievous grin, she retorted, you're the one who needs to stick with me once we're inside. Xiao Zhu adopted an overbearing, CEO-like demeanor as he reminded her, this secret realm is fraught with danger. One wrong step, and you might not make it out. Don't be foolish. Danger is my middle name, Dianka thought cheerfully. She skipped forward, proclaiming, sounds perfect. I don't really want to live anyway. Only then did Xiao Zhu realize he'd been played. He exclaimed in exasperation, why are you so disobedient? Outside the secret realm, they walked side by side, though Xiao Zhu maintained a respectful distance, trailing behind Dianka like a watchful bodyguard. Feeling a little bored, Dianka decided to tease him. Stay close, senior brother. I'll protect you. Not to be outdone, Xiao Zhu replied, protect you. Wait until you've grown a few more inches. Despite their recent verbal sparring, snow began to fall. Dianka, delighted, caught snowflakes on her tongue until the cold began to seep into her, causing her to sneeze repeatedly. Hugging herself tightly, she thought, normally, cultivators at the peak of Chi Foundation are impervious to heat and cold. Why am I feeling so cold? If it gets any colder inside, I might freeze solid. Shivering, Dianka decided to seek out some company. Junior brother, are you there? I'm coming to take a look, she called out, but no one answered. Her eyes widened in surprise as she looked behind her. Where's Snow White? She asked in bewilderment. Then, stopping her foot in the snow, she cursed Xiao Ju. My mother was right. Pig Trotter's words are unreliable. Well, good riddance. No distractions means I can finally focus on the task at hand. No more detours. Meanwhile, the aforementioned unreliable Pig Trotter, Xiao Ju, was trudging through the thick snow, desperately searching for Yanka. Panic rising in his chest, he shouted, Yanka, where are you? Frustrated, he slammed his fist against a tree, praying, Yanka, please just be alive. A full day and night passed in the snowy landscape. Yanka, meanwhile, strolled along, fanning herself and sighing in exasperation. What kind of demonic constitution is this? The more I walk, the more energetic and warmer I get. Finally giving up, she collapsed onto the snow. I'm not walking anymore, she declared, enjoying the coolness. I'll just sleep in the snow. If I can just wait for someone worthy to inherit this before I freeze, that would be ideal. I'm so clever. But life rarely goes as planned. Just a few hours later, Dianka's rare moment of peace was shattered. She sat up abruptly, only to find a woman falling towards her. Dianka found herself pinned beneath the newcomer, crying out in pain, Oof, you're heavy. Get off me. After struggling for a bit, Dianka gave up, sighing inwardly. Fine, being crushed is fine. Even better if she crushes me to death. This whole being pinned by a beautiful woman scenario caused Qingyang, the great emperor, observing through the heavenly Tao mirror, to scowl, his face darkening. You shameless hussy. How dare you take advantage of my brother? Get off him. The emperor simply couldn't stand to watch. He silently prayed, please, stop making that cold, beautiful face do that expression. It's truly horrifying. Beside him, Mo Chonglu unwittingly voiced his own opinion. I see it clearly now. Dianka is the shameless one taking advantage. She's clearly awake, yet she isn't pushing the girl off. Luo Ziyin, hearing this, bristled with indignation. You're talking nonsense. Brother would never take advantage of someone. He's just so cold he can't move. Qingyang, Dianka's brother, stubbornly insisted she was faking it, while Luo Ziyin vehemently defended his brother. The two bickered so incessantly that Dianka, inside the secret realm, felt her head spin. I surrender, she thought, waving a metaphorical white flag. Finally, she resorted to drastic measures. Dianka used her silencing spell, effectively sealing the two chattering mouths. Meanwhile, back in the secret realm, the woman on top of Dianka finally woke up. Her eyes flew open, and she immediately started yelling. You pervert. She raised her hand to strike Dianka. But Dianka wasn't about to be intimidated. She grabbed the woman's hand and said sternly, How old are you? How old am I? If anyone's a pervert, it's you. I was sleeping, and you just jumped on top of me. You're crushing me. The woman, initially furious, deflated slightly. Did you just call me heavy? She asked stiffly. Dianka, never one for subtlety, replied bluntly, yes. So, do you think you could get up now? I'm quite frail, you see. The woman looked embarrassed, but a silent internal debate ensued. His body is so warm. In this snowy weather, it's a lifesaver. But men and women shouldn't touch. Oh, whatever. Survival is more important. So, she settled back down onto Dianka, declaring brazenly, little brat, I'm just warming you up. Don't want you to freeze to death. Dianka groaned, I don't need it. But the woman stubbornly replied for her, yes, you do. Finding the warmth agreeable, she snuggled closer, hugging Dianka tightly. Dianka was rendered speechless. Observing this through the mirror, Mo Changlio's face turned an interesting shade of green. After a period of noisy squabbling, the two finally resigned themselves to their fate and stood up to find their way. Suddenly, the woman swayed weakly. I can't walk anymore, she said to Dianka. Carry me. Dianka stared at her, dumbfounded. Lady, I'm practically a child. But the woman persisted. I really can't. Please help me. I'm begging you. Dianka, ever susceptible to a pretty face, coughed lightly. Darn it, I can't refuse a beautiful woman's plea. She finally relented, bending down and saying, hop on. The woman's eyes lit up. I knew you were a good person. As Dianka carried her, she warned, it's dangerous up ahead. Don't blame me if you die. The woman, undeterred, even wiped the sweat from Dianka's brow. I won't blame you. If it weren't for you, I'd be dead already. I owe you my life. 2 hours later, the woman's breathing grew shallow. As if this wasn't enough, something sharp grazed Dianka's cheek, drawing blood. Startled by the sudden movement, the woman lost her grip and tumbled backward. Little beauty, Dianka cried. Dianka rushed to catch the beautiful woman. After confirming she was still breathing, Dianka let out a surreptitious sigh of relief. Good, she's not dead. Dianka sat down, a melancholic lump. She knew if they went forward, this little beauty would surely die. But if they didn't move, she would die. Dianka fretted, blaming herself. I knew this wasn't good, but she was acting so spoiled, I couldn't resist. Suddenly, amidst the despair, a stroke of luck. Dianka found a beached clamshell, and it was sparkling. They say necessity is the mother of invention. Dianka placed the beautiful woman inside the clamshell and, with the strength of an ox, began dragging both the woman and her shimmering chariot. Now nothing can stop me, she declared cheerfully. Along the way, she even stumbled upon countless treasures, easily recognizable as magical artifacts. However, when one is searching for thrills, who needs magical artifacts? Dianka ruthlessly kicked them aside, repeatedly muttering, "Don't need him, don't need him, don't need him." Kicking treasures aside as she went, she finally erupted in exasperation. So many treasures. How annoying. After trudging through the blinding white snow for a while, Dianka finally broke through the snowy wall and saw the sun. The moment she saw the massive structure before her, goosebumps erupted across her thrill-seeking, life-fearing skin. Where am I now? She wondered. Don't tell me I'm going to accidentally break another seal and inherit something else. Only then did she notice layer upon layer of people lying on the ground behind her. And Xiao Ju, who had vanished earlier, was now here, looking rather disoriented. Before she could ask anything, a voice rang out. You faced danger. You were not tempted by rewards. You did not abandon your companion. Therefore, you have passed the test. You're the first to succeed. Choose your reward and leave quickly. A myriad of enticing treasures appeared before her, but Dianka remained resolute. I don't need any of these. Is there anything else to choose from? Hearing this, the voice patiently replied, You may choose to continue your journey forward, but without magical artifacts, there is no path to survival. Once you enter, there is no turning back. Dianka's eyes lit up. That's exactly what I want. The voice, exasperated by her response, snapped. I've already offered you the best treasures in the secret realm, and you still want to court death. Dianka replied nonchalantly, Mind your own business. I like courting death. Having said that, the voice, its pride wounded, left her with a curt, good luck, before vanishing along with the treasures. Then a wave of people woke up simultaneously, looking around in confusion. How do we get here? What happened? Two men pointed accusingly at Dianka. You, where did you take our junior sister? Wrongfully accused, Dianka stared blankly, her head filled with question marks. But the man continued his furious advance, berating her. Still playing dumb. You have some nerve. How dare you disgrace a member of the Ling Shao sect? I'll teach you a lesson. Taking advantage of someone in danger. Despicable. Upon hearing the mention of a lesson, Dianka's interest was piqued. However, she wasn't about to accept this unjust accusation. Raising her hands in a fighting stance, she glared at the two men. I didn't do anything. Why should I admit to it? Suddenly, a figure stepped in front of her, coldly declaring, If you want to touch her, you'll have to go through me. Dianka blinked, utterly bewildered. Did Xiao Ju take the wrong medicine or something? Why is he helping me? Xiao Ju, after his fierce display, abruptly softened, turning to ask the person behind him gently, Are you all right? This question bruised Dianka's pride. What? She retorted. Are you disappointed I'm not dead? Xiao Ju smiled and shook his head, yet his lips betrayed him. Indeed. A second later, Xiao Ju, without a word of warning, drew his sword and lunged at the two men. Dianka, left dumbfounded, could only fume, crazy lunatic. People are fighting here. Suddenly, the surrounding crowd erupted in excitement, shoving and jostling each other as they ran in the opposite direction, their voices a chorus of eager cries. Look, so many Lingji mushrooms. Hurry, hurry, let's grab some. These are rare. I want to pick some for pill refining. My cultivation will definitely skyrocket. Dianka watched the throng of people scrambling towards the garden behind her and couldn't help but think that must be what a mortal Yuanshan wants. While everyone was busy, Dianka, ever the contrarian, declared nonchalantly, "Doesn't concern me." On the other hand, Xiao Ju, true to his male lead status, even his swordsmanship was aesthetically pleasing. Dianka watched his duel with the two men with rapt attention. Finally, he snapped at her, "What are you standing around for? Go pick some Lingji." Dianka shot him a questioning look. "Do you want them that badly?" Xiao Ju, exasperated, retorted, "Waste of breath. You're just wasting time." Sensing the importance of the Lingji to him, Dianka, mischievous as ever, teased, "Then call me senior brother. Senior brother will pick some for you." But Xiao Ju remained stubborn, yelling, "Yanka." It was a battle of wills. Dianka plugged her ears and said calmly, "Oh dear, it seems like there aren't many Lingji left." Realizing how infuriatingly laid back she was, Xiao Ju decided his best course of action was to quickly dispatch the two men and then rush off to gather the mushrooms. Fighting and gathering was better than calling her senior brother. However, his plan backfired spectacularly. The two men pursued him relentlessly, their swords practically glued to his backside. They were ferocious like dogs with a bone. Driven to desperation, Xiao Ju could only try to keep them occupied while shouting, "Senior brother, hurry up and pick the Lingji." Dianka, thoroughly amused, replied, "All right, senior brother will get you some Lingji." She strolled forward, pulling a strange-looking pouch from her sleeve. With a flourish and a mumbled incantation, the Lingji mushrooms, as if drawn by an invisible force, flew straight into her pouch without her having to move a muscle. This action infuriated the other Lingji gatherers. "Hey, brat, hand over the Lingji if you don't want to die. These belong to everyone. Don't even dream of keeping them all for yourself. Are you from the Sword Heart sect? Hand them over now. Otherwise, don't blame my master for coming to the Sword Heart sect personally to demand them. When that happens, even the elders of your sect will have to pay with their lives. Do the old geezers of the Sword Heart sect even think they can rival our Profound Heart sect? Brat, if you don't hand them over, my master will definitely flatten your entire Sword Heart sect, and you'll be chopped into 1,000 pieces." Dianka merely regarded them as a bunch of noisy children. Unfazed by their bluster, she lazily conjured a small fireball. The crowd erupted in mocking laughter. "Brat, do you really think you can use that tiny fireball against us? You're hilarious. My dad's right here. Throw your pathetic little fireball. If I even flinch, I'll lose." While they were still laughing, Dianka casually upgraded the small fireball into a massive, blazing inferno. The crowd's laughter died in their throats, replaced by expressions of sheer terror. But it was too late to run. Dianka smirked. "Keep laughing. Why aren't you laughing anymore?" Today's episode ends here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support my channel so I can continue making more. The crowd finally realized they were in trouble and began to retreat. "Is this even a fireball? This is terrifying. Attack her together. She's alone. As long as we work together, we can definitely take her down." One person yelled, "I'm from the Hua Island sect. If you dare touch me, you're dead." Dianka, enraged, intensified the fireball and roared, "I hate being threatened the most." With that, the fireball shot straight towards the noisy crowd. Meanwhile, she swiftly scooped up the beautiful woman and ran toward Xiao Ju. Dianka unceremoniously tossed the woman towards the two men who had been diligently, if pointlessly, swinging their swords. Seeing their momentary lapse in attention, she quickly grabbed Xiao Ju's hand and yanked him away. Sure enough, a mere 2 or 3 seconds later, a massive explosion rocked the area behind them. "Catch me," Dianka yelled. Obediently, Xiao Ju reached out and caught her in a tight embrace. Now, having the upper hand, he seriously admonished her, "Don't move if you don't want to die." With that, the two plunged down a snowy cliff face. Dianka asked anxiously, "Are you all right?" The weather below this cliff is completely different from up there. It's freezing everywhere. Worried, she sighed softly. "Junior brother, the road ahead is dangerous. No matter what happens, you must live. You can't put yourself in danger for others." Her heart was heavy with unspoken thoughts, and you definitely can't put yourself in danger for someone like me who just wants to die. But somehow, Xiao Ju only interpreted her words as a sign of concern. He asked cheerfully, "What do you mean?" Dianka immediately deflected his question with a nonchalant reply. Nothing. It's just that if you die, I'll have one less rival. Wouldn't life be less interesting? Xiao Ju, who had been feeling touched, was suddenly thrown off balance by her words. He abruptly pushed her hand away, feigning sulkiness. Even if you die, I won't. Dianka pressed her advantage, emphasizing, remember what you said today. Her words became increasingly cryptic. What do you mean exactly? Dianka remained calm, saying softly, save your breath. Do you need those useless weeds from earlier? At the mention of the Lingji, Xiao Ju paused, then replied, of course I need them. Those Lingji are rare. If I can get them, they'll be very beneficial to my cultivation. As soon as he finished speaking, Dianka tossed him a pouch. Here, take the whole bag. Throw it away when you're done. I have plenty of these things. They're taking up too much space. Hearing this, Xiao Ju immediately recognized the pouch as one of Dianka's handmade creations. He couldn't resist teasing her. This pouch is horribly ugly. However, when Dianka playfully threatened to take it back, he quickly tucked it away inside his robes and declared, I'm not giving it back. Even if it's ugly, Yuan gave it to me. This seemingly flirtatious exchange was misinterpreted by the onlookers watching through the heavenly down mirror. They gossiped amongst themselves. They're definitely a pair of devils. Look at them, already helping each other out. Those two definitely have a shady relationship. The demon lord actually kept that pouch. Who would believe they don't have ulterior motives? I knew there was something going on between them. If the Celestial Emperor wasn't just suppressing this devil instead of destroying him, there's definitely a conspiracy afoot. A female celestial maiden, wise to the ways of the world, declared with a serious tone, there's definitely something romantic going on between them. At least 80% sure. Noticing that both the great Emperor Qingyang and Long Yin Tan were staring at her, the celestial maiden asked nervously, why are you looking at me? I saw the demon lord. Even if he wears rags, he still meticulously repairs this pouch countless times. It's just as I said. Luo Ziyin, overhearing this, angrily retorted lies. Brother wouldn't like that devil. He probably likes me. Her voice, initially full of conviction, dwindled to a mumble as she spoke about herself. Luo Ziyin fidgeted, thinking to herself, could it be true? Brother. Meanwhile, the group continued to watch the two figures intently as Dianka and Xiao Ju bravely ventured deeper into the frigid temple. They pressed on until they heard an unsettling growl, which brought them to a halt. As expected, waiting for them were grotesque, monstrous creatures. Would normal people be scared to death? No way. Dianka thought happily to herself. Perfect. Another chance. Desperate for a fatal encounter, but unwilling to drag Xiao Ju down with her, she stepped in front of him and said seriously, wait a moment, I'll use a fireball to distract them. You run ahead. But Xiao Ju, being the male lead, wasn't afraid. He declared excitedly, a pack of ice wolves. I don't even consider them a threat. Dianka, slightly puzzled, asked, why are you so arrogant? With me here, I have absolute confidence, Xiao Ju replied. Seeing that the demonic beasts before them were relatively weak, Dianka cleverly yielded to Xiao Ju, secretly hoping to encounter a larger monster later that would finish her off swiftly. Having been given the go-ahead by Dianka, Xiao Ju drew his sword with a flourish and charged towards the ice wolves. Each strike was clean and precise, sending the beasts tumbling to the ground, lifeless. In just a few minutes of swift, decisive action, Xiao Ju had successfully defeated the entire pack, leaving them sprawled on the floor. Dianka generously offered him a compliment, not bad skills. As soon as Xiao Ju returned, she produced a medicinal pill and offered it to him. Here, take this to replenish your energy. Xiao Ju, seemingly picking up a competitive streak from somewhere, pointedly remarked, I heard you gave all your medicinal pills to Luo Ziyin. Is this the last one you have? And with that, he coldly refused, I don't need it. Sensing Xiao Ju sulking, Dianka quickly explained, it's true I'm concerned about my two junior disciples. But how could I possibly be without the medicine I refine myself? It's my two junior disciples who are so weak. Without these pills, how will they continue on this path? Hearing this, Xiao Ju seemed to muster a bit of his remaining strength. Clearly exhausted, he conceded with a touch of pride, fine, I'll take it. Dianka, pleased, gave him a metaphorical pat on the head. That's more like it. She found her reverse psychology tactics quite effective. The peace didn't last long. Another growl echoed through the temple. Dianka looked warily at the ferocious beasts before them, her voice trembling slightly. Are those golden core demonic beasts? The beasts were entirely blue, like Smurfs, and utterly hideous. But to Dianka, they were a golden opportunity for a glorious death. Seeing her chance, Dianka insisted on taking the lead in luring the demonic beasts. She locked eyes with the golden core beasts and stepped in front of Xiao Ju, leading him to mistakenly believe she was protecting him. This misunderstanding caused Xiao Ju to scowl and stubbornly declare, "I'm not going anywhere. I want to fight alongside you." Dianka kindly reminded her 2 junior disciples, "No need. You're too weak. You'll only hold me back." Her words were colder than the surrounding ice. Xiao Ju, furious but ultimately compliant, gritted out, "Then thank you, senior brother." As Xiao Ju departed, he couldn't help but glance back at the fiery scene of Dianka battling the demonic beast, shouting, "Be careful." She maintained a serious facade in front of him, diligently using her fire and water techniques against the golden core beast. But the moment Xiao Ju was gone, Dianka withdrew her attacks and began a game of tag with the beast. She scampered about, taunting, "Silly tiger. Chase me. Come on, come on." After running east and west for a while, seemingly satisfied, she muttered to herself, "Finally, my spiritual energy is depleted. After I get back, I'll use the techniques I've learned in Star Company. I'll become rich, a CEO, a powerful woman at the peak of success." Bored with running, Dianka dramatically collapsed onto the floor, causing the bewildered demonic beast to pause. She exclaimed with exaggerated weakness, "Oh dear, I've fallen. I'm too weak to move. You're going to tear me limb from limb and chew me up, aren't you?" Her mouth cried out, "Don't bite, don't bite," while she actively shoved her hand into the beast's mouth. Finally, just as Dianka had hoped, the golden core beast bit off her hand. Employing a damsel in distress act, she looked at the beast with feigned vulnerability and asked, "You've eaten my hand, so you won't eat my leg, right?" As expected, the Smuff-like creatures lunged at her, tearing and biting. Dianka sighed contentedly. The plan worked. Her limbs were gnawed upon by the golden core beasts. Yet, even with her last shred of consciousness, she smiled blissfully, happy to finally be dead and on her way back home. But life rarely goes as planned. At that critical moment, a beam of light shone down, restoring her limbs and healing all her wounds. Dianka sat up abruptly, staring at the 3 lion-maned creatures looming over her, utterly bewildered. What's going on? Then, she noticed a pair of delicate white feet before her. The newcomer was Jing Jinwu, the guardian of the heavenly Tao. She looked surprised. "Little one, how did you break through my illusion?" Dianka realized she had overestimated herself. "So it was an illusion," she muttered. No wonder it felt strange. Jinwu pressed, "Are you even listening to me? Don't you want to know where your little lover is?" Dianka's eyes widened. "My lover? When did I have one?" A moment later, a chilling thought struck her. She doesn't mean Xiao Ju, does she? Panicked, Dianka quickly denied it. "Don't go shipping random couples. I want to be single." Perhaps the heavenly Tao mirror understood the human heart, because Jinwu seemed to know Dianka was a woman. She looked at her with a hint of resentment. "You dislike her, feigning innocence, sacrificing yourself for others. Could it be he likes you too?" Confused and irritated, Dianka snapped, "What are you talking about? What are you trying to do?" Jinwu merely chuckled coldly, still playing dumb. "You think you can ensure his safety by not admitting it." She then showed Dianka a vision of Xiao Ju struggling against 2 golden core demonic beasts within an illusionary realm. Dianka observed calmly, thinking, "Asterisk, this is also an illusion, right? Why does the male lead look so foolish?" Asterisk, Jinwu quickly provided an answer. "Unless one possesses unwavering willpower, able to entrust everything, what he sees is reality." This is heartbreaking. She then dangled the bait. "If you want him to live, it's simple. Just stay here forever." Dianka asked with a flicker of interest, "Staying here means death, right?" After Jinwu confirmed, "Of course," Dianka's face lit up with excitement. What a stroke of luck. Thrilled at the prospect of death, Dianka immediately agreed, fearing Jinwu might change her mind. However, her swift agreement translated into a cheesy romance novel trope in Jinwu's mind. She asked pointedly, "You agree so quickly, yet you claim to have no relationship with him. Very well, I shall fulfill your wish." With that, Jinwoo created an illusory image of Dianka and threw it into Xiao Ju's illusory realm. Hearing a familiar voice, Xiao Ju anxiously asked, "Are you all right?" Thank goodness. However, the illusory Dianka remained silent. Then, she unexpectedly attacked him. Xiao Ju, bewildered, took a palm strike to the chest. The silent figure finally spoke, uttering 3 chilling words. Go, D. And so, Xiao Ju was beaten to the ground by the illusory Dianka. She looked down at him coldly and said, Xiao Ju, you clearly possess a useless spirit root. How dare you have the same cultivation level as me? Trash like you should just die. She continued, let me tell you, I've long known the secret here. Only when all of you are dead will the treasures in this secret realm belong solely to me. Xiao Ju's eyes filled with hatred. You've been deceiving me this whole time. The illusory Dianka roared, deceiving. You overestimate yourself. Before she could say another word, she was struck by Xiao Ju's cold sword. Tears streamed down Xiao Ju's face as he whispered, Yanka, why? It was clearly you. This melodramatic scene pleased Jinwoo immensely. She sneered, see, this is the man you love. You're willing to die for him, but he believes what he sees. The real Dianka, however, remained indifferent. Aren't you wasting your breath? Do you think seeing is believing? Her strange reaction, so unlike a typical romance heroine, surprised Jinwoo. You don't blame him. He misunderstood you, cruelly took your life, and you don't blame him. Dianka replied, no, I don't, while inwardly celebrating. I almost wish it were true. Jinwoo scowled at the girl beside her, but she quickly regained her composure and said with a smirk, you're just like that little vixen. Except she feigned ignorance, while you're truly a fool. With just a few words, Dianka understood Jinwoo's nature. She prayed silently, pretty lady, please agree with me. Don't fall in love anymore. You really look like a green tea bitch stealing someone else's man. But her desire for death trumped all else. She coldly changed the subject. Are you done? When are you going to kill me? Before I die, can I see Xiao Ju? Jinwoo spitefully withdrew the image of Xiao Ju and sulked. Want to see him? I won't let you. From now on, you and he are fated to be apart. He will live on, consumed by hatred for you. She continued, and you will endure the suffering of this 10,000-year ice prison in my place. Every day, you'll suffer 1,000 cuts for 3 hours. An endless cycle of torment. While Jinwoo cackled, Dianka realized something was wrong. 10,005 years. I thought it was instant death. She said regretfully, big sister, you misunderstood. I'm a selfish person. I only think of myself. I don't have the heart of a newborn babe. Why don't you just kill me now? Her eagerness to die was met with Jinwoo's manic excitement. Want to die? No chance. Ha ha. After tens of thousands of years, I can finally leave this place. Laughing maniacally, she vanished, leaving Dianka dumbfounded. Dianka hurried after her, shouting, hey, don't go. As soon as she finished speaking, countless icy chains erupted from above, targeting Dianka. First her hands, then her feet were bound by the icy chains. Dianka panicked, yelling, what is this? Let me go. Then, waves of icy cold washed over her. She realized these chilling shackles were the 1,000-year Ice Jing Jinwoo had mentioned. Not only did the chains bind her, but they also tightened brutally, lifting Dianka into the air. Just as Jing Jinwoo had described, countless shards of ice, sharp as swords, materialized and pointed directly at Dianka's face. The frigid ice pierced her body relentlessly, causing wounds that bled profusely. Despite this torture, Dianka remained strangely exhilarated. Her eyes wide, she looked at her predicament and said cheerfully, so this is it. This method of dying isn't bad at all. 3 days passed quickly. Indifferent to the cold, Dianka fumed inwardly. Injured, then healed. Healed, then injured. It's been 3 days of this. Why am I still alive? She grumbled, poking at her regenerating flesh. This is infuriating, she roared. Exasperated by this cruel joke, Dianka resolved to cultivate. She would break through, she would rebel against this torment. And so, Dianka embarked on her cultivation journey. Step 1, find a comfortable position. Step 2, close her eyes and enter her inner consciousness. Time flew by. 5 long years passed while Dianka simply took a nap. Finally, she awoke. Opening her eyes, Yanka was greeted by the first rays of light. Jing Jinwoo appeared abruptly, looking as if she'd seen a ghost. It's been 5 years. How are you still alive? And you haven't changed a bit. This news was so shocking that even Yanka was taken aback. What are you talking about? 5 years. She frantically ruffled her hair. 5 years wasted. She wailed. The situation was truly terrifying. She had intended to cultivate and emerge a powerful being, but nothing had changed. She was still as small and weak as before. Just as Jing Jinwoo was about to speak, Yanka unleashed her fury. How dare you show your face? What do you want now? Pointing towards the exit, she yelled, "Get out. I don't want to see you." Jing Jinwoo, who had endured the tirade in silence, finally spoke. "I can help you leave, but you must agree to one condition." She must be plotting something, Yanka thought, aware of Jinwoo's scheming nature. "I've suffered for 5 years. If she offers me freedom, I'll be so moved I'll agree to anything." But this manipulation tactic didn't work on Yanka. She scowled, hands on her hips. "Do you think you can just imprison me and release me as you please?" Seething with resentment, Yanka's face contorted in a grimace. "She delayed my return for 5 years, broke my dream of going home for 5 years. I won't be satisfied until I raze this place to the ground." Planting herself firmly, she declared, "I'm not going anywhere. Whatever you say has nothing to do with me anymore." Jing Jinwoo was furious. She pulled out a vast array of treasures and said coldly, "Fine, I'll compensate you. These are all top-grade artifacts. You can choose two." Yanka was momentarily tempted, but a second later, she turned her head and said flatly, "I don't need your scraps." This little ancestor was proving too difficult to please, so Jing Jinwoo erupted in a thunderous rage. "Do you believe I'll drop you?" she roared. Yanka, finding this whole ordeal ridiculously appealing, egged her on. "If you have the guts, then do it. Stop with the empty threats." Jing Jinwoo was practically apoplectic, half dead with fury thanks to Yanka's provocations. Yet, she had no choice but to mutter to herself, "Calm down. For the sake of my freedom, I must remain calm." Finally pushed past her limit, Jing Jinwoo flung open her collection of treasures and declared magnanimously, "Fine, I'll give you this entire pile. Are we good now?" However, Yanka continued to shake her head, her refusal unwavering. "Kill me, or I'll level this place. You can only choose one." Jing Jinwoo was speechless with rage. Defeated, she sighed and decided to try a different tactic. "Fine," she conceded. "I'll tell you my story to pass the time. I am Jing Jinwoo, guardian of the heavenly Tao. My senior brother is the great Emperor Jin Kyuyet. We were childhood sweethearts. If things had gone as planned, we would have been married. It was a certainty. Unfortunately, fate had other plans. In my youth, I was easily beguiled by a man. I thought it was the beginning of lifelong happiness. Little did I know, he would imprison me here for tens of thousands of years of torment, all for another woman. I hope that after you leave this place, you will tell my brother what happened. If he knows, he will surely rescue me from this darkness." After listening to this real-life romance drama, Yanka finally grasped the key point. "Did you say Great Emperor Jin Kyuyet?" she asked. Seeing that Yanka recognized the name, Jing Jinwoo became excited. "You know him. I knew it. Everyone knows my brilliant brother. So, are you regretting your attitude now?" Unfazed by Jing Jinwoo's overblown pride, Yanka simply uttered 3 words, "He's dead." Then, generously updating the socially isolated Jing Jinwoo on current events, she continued, "Since you're his junior sister, you should also know that Xiao Ju, the kid you threw out of the secret realm, is the one who killed him. The sword he carries is the great Emperor Jin Kyuyet's." This information was so shocking that even the guardian of the heavenly Tao crumbled. Jing Jinwoo refused to believe it. Tears streamed down her face as she cried out, "Impossible. My brother is so powerful. How could he die? Tell me again. Is my brother alive or dead?" She flew into a rage, lunging at Yanka as if to strangle her. But no matter the threat, Yanka continued to provoke her. "He's dead. No matter how many times you ask, the answer is still dead." Unable to accept this reality, Jing Jinwoo tightened her grip on Yanka's slender neck. Continuing her taunts, Yanka said, "I'm not afraid to tell you. I'm the one who dropped him. If you have the guts, then drop me too. Avenge your brother." Jing Jinwoo fell for the bait, her blood boiling with rage. She truly wanted to send Yanka to meet her maker. But But just as her attack was about to land, Jing Jinwoo abruptly slammed on the brakes, as if realizing she was about to run a red light and incur a hefty fine. Dianka, waiting for the pain that never came, opened her eyes and muttered sarcastically, "Don't tell me you're going to release some love butterflies again." However, Jing Jinwoo wasn't entirely foolish. She quickly realized something was amiss and pointed accusingly at Dianka. "Impossible. A little brat like you could never drop my extraordinary brother." Dianka was utterly speechless at Jing Jinwoo's conveniently timed intelligence. After a moment, Jing Jinwoo suddenly pressed a point on Dianka's body, successfully accessing her memories of the time she encountered the great Emperor Jin Kuyet within the Sword Tomb. She was even blasted back by his very spirit. Jing Jinwoo trembled slightly, whispering, "That's my brother's aura. You're the inheritor he chose. So my brother truly is no longer in this world." Jing Jinwoo buried her face in her hands, racked with grief. "Brother," she sobbed, "it's my fault. If I hadn't fallen for the wrong person, if I hadn't left at that crucial moment, those demons wouldn't have broken the seal and entered the mortal realm. And just now, I almost harmed your chosen inheritor. I deserve 1,000 deaths." Suddenly, a deafening clap of thunder echoed from beyond the hall. Jing Jinwoo, with a single glance, recognized it as a tribulation lightning storm. Her eyes widened as Dianka's entire body began to glow brightly. Jing Jinwoo's face darkened as she stared at the glowing figure before her, marveling, You were actually able to cultivate here, and you're even attempting to transcend your tribulation here." She watched, dumbfounded, as Dianka lost consciousness, her surprise evident. "She's been trapped here for 5 years, constantly under my watch. How could she possibly have cultivated to this level? No, wait," she thought, a change coming over her. "My brother has such a talented inheritor. I should be happy for him." Turning to the unconscious Dianka, she said gently, "You didn't want to leave, did you? You wanted to use the golden core tribulation lightning to destroy this place and avenge your imprisonment, right?" Dianka let out a small, indignant huff. A warm smile spread across Jing Jinwoo's face. "What a spirited child," she praised. "I like that." Then, she pulled out a hairpin. She also removed a ring from her finger and offered both to Dianka. "This hairpin is for you," she said, "and this Chinkoan ring. It contains all of my possessions. I hope you won't find them too shabby." As she spoke, Jing Jinwoo's body began to fade. She looked at Dianka with kindness. "Thank you," she whispered, "for telling me about my brother. And thank you for showing me the true desires of my heart. If there is a next life, I will surely atone for the wrong I've done you today." Dianka, holding the gifts, pulled a face. "Seriously," she muttered, "more gifts? This is all so dramatic." Outside the heavenly Tao mirror, a wave of murmurs erupted. Jin Kuyet's junior sister, someone exclaimed, "The guardian of the heavenly Tao." "That jade hairpin she gave Dianka. Isn't that the heavenly Tao mirror itself? She gave the artifact she protected her whole life to Dianka. Does this mean she intends to ascend?" Another voice chimed in. Jin Kuyet was the only person she cared for in this world. Now that she knows he's ascended, and there's no one left to save her, she's accepted her fate. Perhaps this is the best choice for Jing Jinwoo. Luo Xingam looked towards the celestial emperor above and whispered, "So, this heavenly Tao mirror was a gift from my brother. I'm using a gift from him to punish him." Luo Xingam felt like the biggest fool in the world. Since Jing Jinwoo's soul had already dispersed, Dianka could only carefully store the gifts. Fastening the hairpin in her hair, she sighed dramatically. "Well, I didn't get to die, but at least I got 2 treasures out of it." The road to death is long and arduous indeed. After putting on the ring, Dianka gasped as a book suddenly appeared before her. Its title contained only 4 words, Defying Heaven, Changing Fate. The first page immediately captivated her. It read, "Any sorcerer who defies the will of heaven shall suffer heaven's wrath. This book is not recommended for study or practice." Dianka's eyes lit up. "Heaven's wrath, huh?" she mused. "Sound exciting." After a moment of quiet contemplation, she began to read. Finally, the tribulation lightning struck. It pierced through the main hall, shattering the millennial-old ice. Dianka, startled, jumped to her feet. "The tribulation lightning is here already," she exclaimed. Outside the mirror, Luo Xingam ever the concerned brother, gestured frantically. "Brother, run! The palace is about to collapse," he shouted, though he knew his words were futile. The past was the past. Inside, Dianka rummaged frantically within her robes, producing a small pouch. With the palace seemingly on the verge of collapse, she excitedly gathered shards of ice, humming cheerfully. "This 1,000-year-old ice can be used for refining medicine and forging weapons," she muttered to herself. "Can't let it go to waste." Watching the scene unfold, the celestial emperor, Luo Zingam, was utterly bewildered. Question marks practically floated above his head. "What is she doing?" He blurted, "Brother, you need to run." From her vantage point on the throne within the mirror, Dianka, unable to bear her brother's foolishness any longer, silently willed him to be quiet. However, seeing her past self behave in such a manner, even she couldn't help but feel a twinge of embarrassment. What was I even doing back then? She wondered. But to Luo Zingam, everything his brother did seemed perfectly reasonable. He declared excitedly, "My brother must have a good reason for doing this." After diligently collecting the ice shards, Dianka finally faced the full force of the tribulation lightning. It wasn't until the palace began to crumble around her that she finally jumped up and fled. Looking back at the wreckage, Dianka, seemingly unconcerned that it wasn't destroyed enough, stomped her foot and exclaimed, "What the heck, heavens? I went straight from early-stage golden core cultivator to peak golden core in the blink of an eye. At this rate, when will I finally die and go home?" Despite her frustration, she had no choice but to accept her fate. Sighing, she decided to return to her sect. "I'll check things out back at the sect," she thought. "My only hope now lies with that villain Luo Zingam and the male lead, Xiao Ju." 5 years had passed, but Dianka indeed returned to the Swordheart sect. Upon seeing her, Grand Elder Yuan Chun rushed out to greet her. "My dear disciple," he cried, "you're finally back. I feared you had met with misfortune and grieved for so long. Seeing you again fills me with such emotion." Dianka simply replied, "I'm tired." But the old fox continued to fuss over her, showering her with flattery. Good. I had your senior sister, Jiru, clean your room. I even prepared your favorite roast chicken." His incessant chatter was giving her a headache. So, Dianka paused and gestured for Grand Elder Yuan Chun to be silent. She coldly uttered 2 words, "Understood." Finally, Dianka reached her room. Without waiting for the noisy father-daughter duo of Yuan Chun and Ji-Ru to bother her further, she slammed the door shut, effectively isolating herself from them. Outside, the old fox fumed. "That brat reached peak golden core," he muttered. "He must have encountered some fortuitous opportunity in that secret realm. I have to find out what it was, and bring that useless Luo Zingam here." Ji-Ru acknowledged the order and left. Inside, Dianka cradled the book, signed dramatically. "This book is amazing," she lamented, "but the requirements are insane. Changing my constitution is one thing, but researching heavenly timing, earthly advantage, and human harmony. And I need to combine it with some heaven-defying spirit beast, like that chaotic divine body it mentioned. Not only do I need to find a place with the purest chaotic energy, but I also need to combine it with the spirit bone, the law of reincarnation, and 3 grand hours. And then I have to endure 49 years of red lotus karmic fire refinement. The worst part is, even though the caster will suffer backlash from the red lotus karmic fire, they still have to endure thousands of years of burning. And in the end, they'll die in Tao extinction. She collapsed on her back, groaning. "Thousands of years. If I had that kind of time, I'd be off finding new ways to die. I thought I just needed to give my spiritual roots and bloodline to Luo Zingam. Who knew it would be so complicated?" Suddenly, she paused, a thought striking her. "Wait a minute," she murmured, "don't I have the Chinquan ring?" With that, Dianka removed the ring Jing Jinwu had given her. From within, she pulled out a treasure trove of items. Golden sun leaves, heavenly yang lotus, illusory extreme silk, and more. Flipping through the book, Dianka exclaimed excitedly, "This one, and this one too. I remember these being mentioned in the book." After rummaging through every corner of the ring, she finally found a note about medicinal ingredients. Dianka's eyes lit up, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. "I have all the ingredients," she chuckled, "and at the critical moment, I can activate the curse, causing instant death. Isn't this tailor-made for me?" Overwhelmed with excitement, she immediately wanted to put her newfound knowledge into practice. True to her villainous nature, her talent for dragging others into trouble never disappointed. However, just as she opened the door, Dianka found Ji-Ru standing outside. Junior brother Yin, she inquired, are you awake? Is something urgent? Startled by the sudden question, Dianka momentarily froze. Recovering quickly, she immediately began fishing for information about Luo Xingam. Ji-Ru, pleased by the attention, readily answered, Xingam is doing very well. He's currently staying in my father's courtyard, under my personal care. Upon hearing this, Dianka excitedly grabbed Ji-Ru's hand, intending to rush off to find Xingam, but was stopped. Ji-Ru pulled out a pouch and said gently, Junior brother, you and I always loved Lingji. I grew these myself over the years. Here, take them. Dianka happily accepted the gift. Thank you, senior sister. Once I refine these into pills, I'll share some with you. Despite this, Ji-Ru continued to dissuade Dianka from seeing Xingam. Junior brother, she said, Xingam is taking a nap. Why don't you come see him later? Hearing this, Dianka, without a trace of suspicion, pouted and sighed. Oh, all right then. I'll refine these Lingji into pills first. Seeing Dianka obediently return to her room, Ji-Ru breathed a sigh of relief. That was close, she muttered under her breath. While Dianka diligently worked on refining the pills, whispers suddenly drifted in from outside. Who are they talking about? That good for nothing. Impossible. Isn't he dead? Dianka, trying to focus, found her curiosity piqued. She edged closer to the door, overhearing the hushed voices urging each other to go and see for themselves. Intrigued, she wondered, who is this mysterious person causing such a commotion? There's no way I'm missing out on this. To avoid suspicion, Dianka used a soul-splitting technique to separate her soul from her body. Her soul floated freely in the air, giggling. I have to see this for myself. Gotta keep up with the gossip. After slipping out of her room and following the crowd, she unexpectedly encountered a figure clad entirely in black. Before she could get a good look, the figure sensed her presence. With a swift kick, the figure sent Dianka's soul reeling. Panicked, Dianka hastily retreated, pulling her soul back in her body and gasping for breath. Doubt clouded her mind. Xiaoju, she whispered. Why is it him? And he's even wearing the heavenly gang sect uniform. What happened to the male lead 5 years ago? She wondered. As if answering her question, the heavenly Tao mercifully provided a glimpse into the past. After falling from Jing Jinwu's palace, Xiaoju landed face first in the cold snow. Struggling to his feet, he lamented, Yanka, I treated you like a brother, but you only wanted to kill me. I trusted you so much, gave you everything I had. Before his tears could fully fall, a crowd gathered around him. Xiaoju looked up at the arrogant figure standing amongst them. I thought you were so tough, the figure sneered. Turns out you're just a crybaby behind everyone's back. Xiaoju quickly wiped his tears and retorted, who said I was crying. The figure, uninterested in his response, simply pointed and yelled, get him, beat him to death. His companions drew their swords and lunged at Xiaoju. Already exhausted and outnumbered 3-1, he struggled to defend himself and was inevitably struck from behind. Then, with a single brutal kick, the arrogant figure sent Xiaoju sprawling, coughing up blood. Satisfied with their handiwork, the 3 assailants left Xiaoju lying injured in the snow. As soon as they were out of sight, another group arrived. Xiaoju, it seemed, was a popular target. Isn't that the kid? One of them said. The one who defended the Ling Xiao sect's junior sister. A young woman among them, looking concerned, softly remarked, his breathing seems very weak. In contrast to her gentle brother, another man in the group acted cruelly. He kicked Xiaoju hard, then said indifferently, well, let's see. Seeing Xiaoju still lying motionless in the snow after the kick, the 2 men clicked their tongues. He really is in bad shape, one said. Come on, life and death are impermanent. Looks like he's short-lived. Nothing to do with us. However, the gentle brother carefully lifted Xiaoju, then called to his junior sister, Tian Shui, come and give me a hand. The cruel man asked, puzzled, what are you doing? The gentle brother, ever kind, replied, I sense the aura of a nascent soul demonic beast on him. He must have obtained some secret magical artifact after killing his fellow disciples. I'm taking him to the heavenly gang sect, to Elder Wu. Sure enough, after bringing Xiaoju back to the heavenly gang sect's secret chamber, they managed to revive him. However, they quickly tied him up and began to torture him. Elder Wu relentlessly demanded, what is the secret of the mystic realm? But no matter how much they questioned or beat him, Xiaoju stubbornly insisted, I don't know. This infuriated the elder. He lashed out with a whip again and again. You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Elder Wu roared. Xiao Ju was beaten until his entire body was covered in blood. Even the pole he was suspended from was shattered by the relentless blows. Thoroughly disgusted, the white-haired elder finally stormed off. Throw him out of the sect for the dogs. He ordered cruelly, don't let him offend my sight any longer. As soon as the old man left, the gentle brother sighed in relief. Gods, he almost gave me a heart attack. Then he angrily kicked the barely conscious Xiao Ju. You wretch, you wretch, you wretch. He snarled. I thought I could curry favor with Elder Wu through you, but you're so uncooperative. You want to die? I'll grant your wish. Tian Shui, unable to bear it any longer, intervened. Enough. He's half dead already. How can he answer you? The man, clearly susceptible to the beautiful woman's pleas, softened slightly. Turning to leave, he said, Tian Shui, I'll leave the disposal of the body to you. Left with no choice, Tian Shui wrapped Xiao Ju in a mat and dragged him behind the mountain. She continued, pulling him all the way to the hunting grounds of the ferocious beasts. Looking down at Xiao Ju, Tian Shui sighed with a touch of pity. This is a good feng shui spot I've chosen for you, she murmured. I hope you'll be reborn in a better place in your next life. Noticing the approaching beasts, she grew apprehensive and prepared to leave quickly. However, to her surprise, Xiao Ju clutched her skirt, holding her back. He struggled to speak, whispering, save me. Xiao Ju, driven by the unfulfilled vengeance for his Xiao clan, refused to accept his fate. Finally, half a year passed. Tian Shui continued to secretly bring food to the back of the mountain. She cautiously surveyed the surroundings, making sure no one was watching, before activating a hidden mechanism. A door opened, revealing a secret chamber within the cliff face. I haven't been here for a few days, Tian Shui thought to herself. I wonder if he's hungry. She quickly entered the chamber with the food box and spoke gently, rest a while. Your wounds haven't healed yet. Pushing yourself so hard every day will only strain your body further. Xiao Ju powerfully stood up on his 2 feet, proving to Tian Shui that he could endure. Tian Shui, watching his stubborn display, clicked her tongue. You're truly remarkable. Your meridians were completely destroyed, with no breath left. Relying on just a few ordinary medicinal pills I stole from the elder, you've managed to hold on until today. That must require incredibly strong conviction. Tian Shui gently watched Xiao Ju eat, softly asking, is it good? Eat more if you like it. Meanwhile, Xiao Ju, sipping his soup, darkly thought, Elder Wu, Heavenly Gang Sect, YNCA. I won't let a single one of you go. 5 years finally passed. After many days of recuperation and cultivation, Xiao Ju finally descended the mountain, embarking on his quest for revenge, starting with the entire Heavenly Gang Sect. Elder Wu, once so ferocious towards him, now cowered, pathetically begging, don't kill me. Don't lay a hand on me. I'll give you anything you want. But Xiao Ju only desired revenge. With a cold flick of his sword, he ended the old man's life in an instant. Then, with chilling indifference, he murmured too late. Taking the command token from Elder Wu's body, Xiao Ju didn't even glance at it, casually tossing it back to Tian Shui. The position of sect leader of the Heavenly Gang Sect, he said coldly, is yours now. He then proceeded directly to the Sword Heart sect, arriving at Yuan Chen's residence, where he greeted him respectfully. Master, your disciple has returned. The old fox put on a caring facade. Good. It seems your cultivation has progressed considerably in these past years. Inwardly, however, he was panicking. Is it too late to take back my mistake? As soon as Xiao Ju finished speaking, he immediately inquired about Dianka's whereabouts. Hearing her name mentioned, Dianka, ever inquisitive, flew over on her sword, greeting them. Junior brother, it's been a while. Xiao Ju looked up at her, echoing her words. Indeed, it has. Xiao Ju patiently waited for Dianka to land. He'd been mulling something over. Yanka, let's see how you explain what happened in the mystic realm. However, the moment she landed, she excitedly examined his sword, exclaiming, I must admit, this sword forging technique is truly fascinating. Xiao Ju froze, utterly dumbfounded. Why are you looking at the sword and not at me? Do you feel guilty and can't bear to look me in the eye? He subtly moved closer to her, trying to attract her attention. But Dianka, inexplicably oblivious, cheerfully ran towards Yuan Shun. Old man, she asked where's Zingam. I came to see him. Xiao Ju, unceremoniously ignored, was left speechless, turning to stone. Finally, waving a white flag of surrender, he swallowed his pride and spoke. "Senior brother," he asked with forced casualness, "it's been years. How have you been?" Only then did Yanka remember, realizing she'd been so preoccupied with Luo Xingam that she'd completely forgotten Xiao Ju's presence. Expertly resuming her role, she asked, "Where have you been these past 5 years? I heard you just returned as well." Xiao Ju responded tartly, "Thanks to senior brother's blessings, I've lived quite well these past 5 years." Still, she showed no sign of unusual behavior. Instead, she cheerfully encouraged him, "As long as you're well and happy, that's all that matters." Having said that, Yanka called out twice to the small figure of Luo Xingam. Jiru, leading the young boy, approached and softly inquired, "Junior brother Yin,